What's up and welcome back. Sorry that this video, I mean, there's no schedule for this series, so I don't really have to apologize. You shouldn't be expecting anything. But sorry that that between this last video and this video, there was a bunch of episodes of Dispatch and some other stuff. I said that I would do Dispatch and Fate at the same time. What I didn't know when I said that was that Dispatch was actually really short and also very addictive and easy to get through. So I just like sped through that in like a week. And also I've been having to do, not having to, but I've been doing One Piece games on my Jent Watches One Piece channel. And so that has also affected my my ability to have time to do this stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff that I'm dealing with right now. So I haven't had as much time to do Fate. But I have always had it in the back of my mind. So right now I'm going to do a little bit of it. I'm going to play maybe an hour and a half or so right now. And then I'll combine it with another recording session later. So I don't know when this is going up. It could go up in a year. Who knows? What is the matter? Are you not going to eat, Ellisville? You have eaten less than a third of what you did yesterday. I just can't eat this. I can't eat spicy food. I do not think it is particularly spicy. The spices used go well with the chicken. I said I don't like mustard. Just eat this for me, will you? In return, I'll eat your strawberry for you. What are you doing, Ellisville? Hey, return that this instant. You may not have that. If you want something sweet, there's apple pie. Ilya and Saber sit next to each other, bickering like two close sisters. It's just past noon. The three of us sit and face each other, eating lunch together just like yesterday. Oh right, it's not just lunch that's the same as yesterday. Our training today was as well. Today, though, is even more awkward. I don't know how to explain it, but something in my chest stirs whenever I face Saber, and I find myself unable to rush at her with the same desperation I used to. It's not just me. Saber's been acting weird too. It used to be that she never let an opening go by. The last couple days, she's just waited for me to make a move, which has meant the two of us just kind of ended up staring at each other for a while. What's going on with you two? You're not very fun to watch now. Ilya's criticism helped us get back into the swing of things. I managed to go after Saber, but it ended pretty much the same. She battled aside my half-assed attack, but didn't bother countering. Since she didn't follow up, I whirled on Saber, lunged again, and was once more repelled, though she again didn't counterattack. Our lackluster session ended about 10 minutes ago. Once again, it was at Saber's suggestion we began our lunch break. We're having the same thing we did yesterday, sandwiches. I figured it wouldn't do to make them exactly the same as yesterday, so I used a few other ingredients. Everyone seems happy. Ilya is excited over the colourful sandwiches, and Saber takes a deep breath preparing for her meal. I think that's Saber's way of showing her enthusiasm. It's much rowdier than yesterday. It's raining and the hardwood floor is cold, but it also feels like a picnic. That is enough, Ellisville. If you eat like that, you will dirty your clothes. Honestly, this is what happens when you mimic Shiro and try to eat it in one bite. Your mouth is small, so you should eat it more daintily. You're the one who doesn't understand, Saber. It's even less polite to worry about manners with a meal like this. This is a picnic, so this is how you should be eating, right, Shiro? Ilya happily munches on a sandwich, and Saber reluctantly wipes Ilya's mouth with a napkin. They really are like sisters. That tickles, Saber. Well, I didn't see this coming. Saber and Ilya seem to have warmed up to each other, yeah. This is a surprise. Are you not going to push me away, Ellisville? Why would I? I love when people are nice to me. Yeah, if anyone else tried to touch me, I'd kill them. But Saber's pretty, so I'll allow it. And we are sharing a meal now. If Saber likes me, I like her too. It's so simple for Ilya. Saber, clearly taken aback, stares at Ilya dumbfounded. Even I, just a spectator as this unfolds, am caught off guard by Ilya's smile. What? You don't think this is fun, Saber? Oh, no, I don't.
I'm having tons of fun. It's raining outside. This place is so simple and bleak, and there's nothing here that I've ever wanted. But just being here is fun. It's much nicer than being all alone. Are you not having fun, Saber?
Something in Ilya's smile must have struck Saber. Saber sighs deeply and looks back at her. You are correct. I am also enjoying being here. She sounds bright. That's such a cute smile. And then Saber smiles in a way I've never seen from her. Is it a new sprite? It might be, based on that line. I don't know why, but I'm getting emotional. That smile was great. It was for herself and herself alone. It's not the usual smile I see from her whenever she's protecting someone. It's a smile of sheer happiness. For her, from her. Shiro? What does that look for? Did something good happen? No, nothing. Was I making a funny face?
Yep, you were. You made a face like a father, like you're watching over us from afar. I don't like it.
Huh? Why? Well, she has issues with her father a little bit, I think. I don't understand what she's talking about, but I guess I was just smiling. I see. Well, something good happened, so I guess I didn't realize I was smiling. Huh. Something good, was it? Yep. I like the way you smiled just now, Saber. Seeing it made me happy. What an odd thing to say. That makes you happy, Shiro? Yep. I guess I like seeing you smile like that, Saber. Saber nods, though she doesn't seem convinced. And then, I don't know what came over her, but she smiles and lifts her head. I see. Then it must be the other way around, Shiro. Huh? What do you mean the other way? I am happier to see you smiling. If you keep smiling, that is good enough for me. Aww. I can't meet Saber's gaze. That smile would make anyone lightheaded, I think it said. I managed to calm myself down and glance sidelong at Saber. She calmly resumes eating her picnic lunch. Nothing to worry about there. There should be nothing to worry about, yet something's bothering me. I am happier to see you smiling. In that smile I saw for the first time, it seemed like she was contradicting herself. Oh, well, that was a cute scene. I listened to the rain in Tosaka's room. Today, under the pretense of a magecraft lesson, she performed yet another physical examination like yesterday. She gave me more medicine, then checked all my magic circuits. It's not that I mind doing this, I just don't like the feeling that I'm not doing anything productive. She tells me not to move so she can see what happens to me, but that doesn't mean I can't talk. Oh man, my drink bottle's so hard to drink out of lately. It's like it's not quite getting the water. I think was it also a Fate video that I was trying to fix this problem before? And like to kind of no avail? Cause like I think it feels like it's gonna be to do with that hole. I want to try something. Okay, I'm going to do an experiment right now. I'm going to cover that hole. Okay, I'm going to uncover that hole. It's the hole. I've definitely figured it out now. There is a hole in this little rubber, and the hole is causing this straw to not work how it should. So what do I do about that? How do I fix that? Because it's really fucking with my bottle. I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, I've ordered maybe a replacement for the lid. Dosaka, do you have a minute? I call out to her as I sit in my meditative pose. What is it? It's about Saber. I really don't know how to explain it, but I realize I haven't thought this through at all. It's not even a question of what can I do for Saber. I haven't even thought about what I want to do with her. I've thought about what I want to do with Saber. I want to hug her. Well, I was just wondering what she wants to do. She's never told us anything she wants to do for herself, so...
You don't know what Saber's thinking?
No, it's not that. I just don't know why she's so selfless. Yeah, I just don't know what to do about that.
Huh. Well, you're right. The only thing she's done voluntarily is protect you. It may be a natural thing for a servant to do, but I can't blame you for thinking that since she's so dedicated to doing it. But that doesn't mean she's selfless. Saber is protecting you because protecting you helps fulfill her goal.
Oh. I completely forgot her reason for even becoming a servant. You're right. Saber wants to get the Holy Grail, so it's not like she doesn't have any goals. And that Holy Grail will grant its possessor's wish. That means Saber at least has a wish she wants granted. I don't know what it is, but she wants it enough to even become a servant. So it must have some hope of saving her. Like, for example, she's here in this time period, and the power of the Holy Grail can help her so she can stay here and live a second life. And she would have to wish for something that big just to make up for all the suffering and tragedy she endured. Oh, then it's actually pretty simple.
Huh? You're energetic all of a sudden. It's creeping me out. Were we talking about something fun for you to get all excited like this?
Yeah, I am getting excited. And yeah, she wouldn't be fighting so hard unless it was for something real big. After all, Saber needs to fight for her own wish. I nod to myself. Tosaka, on the other hand, seems utterly bewildered.
Emiya, sorry to rain on your parade, but you're jumping to the wrong conclusion. Saber's not fighting for her own sake.
The music's stopping.
You understand that, right? Saber isn't like that. She doesn't want the Holy Grail for herself.
What's your reasoning? I can't even ask that. I know. She made her final moments alone because she didn't have any desires for herself. So Saber wouldn't seek for her own salvation now. But still, I hoped otherwise, even for a brief moment, so I pushed my distorted desire on her. Our conversation trails off, just as I think this awkward silence is going to continue forever.
This might be a boring story, but Archer actually said something similar to what you said.
Huh? Archer? You mean your Archer?
Yeah. I once asked him what his wish was. And do you know what he said?
I wouldn't have the slightest idea. I never knew a single thing about him. Archer once declared that we were bound to be enemies anyway, so he made no effort to communicate with Saber or me. And yet, he may have been cynical, but he didn't seem the sort to have stupid objectives in mind.
Get this!
Look at this pose. I don't know if we've seen this one before.
You're going to laugh. When I asked him what his wish was, he said,
Like, look at her hand. It looks so wonky. Like her fingers look like swollen. How about world peace? Now, was that Archer's voice, or was that somehow Reen doing an impression of Archer? Because I was hoping it would be Reen doing an impression of Archer. But either the voice actress is incredibly fucking talented, and that actually was an impression, or they just put Archer's voice in there.
It was so ridiculous I couldn't help laughing. But then he got all weird and said, I knew you'd laugh. Well, you know there's no meaning in gaining salvation from others. Fine, let's just say this was a joke and leave it at that. It made me think that that's probably why a guy like him became a heroic spirit, to get ordered around by a girl like me.
I see. He didn't look it, but he was a great proud knight in his own right.
But don't get the wrong idea. If the Holy Grail really grants any wish, permanent world peace would be the worst one. It'd just mean nothing happens. If there was no conflict in the world, that'd be as good as death. If nothing happens, the only thing is to rot away from stagnation.
I've heard this a lot before, and I wonder if that's true. Like, I feel like world peace doesn't mean no conflict. I feel like those are different things. Well, like, you can still disagree with each other and be peaceful, you know? World peace is like not killing each other. But like, I don't think the fact that people are killing each other makes ice cream taste better, you know? But like conflict, I can see how conflict is helpful for our society. We can't just all agree with each other and be a hive mind. But that's not the same as, you know, war and famine and all of that. Did you tell Archer that too? I did, and he said, that's what the wise would think. I agree, but I'm still going to follow the stream, even if it's a fool's dream. Then I pressed him about whether he had any other wishes, and he said, I do, but it's not a wish that should be granted by the Holy Grail, so I'll let you make your own wish in my place. Pretty pretentious, right? I bet he was quite the womanizer when he was alive. I really didn't get that impression of him, but what's your point here, Tosaka? It's funnier reading these conversations with the context of who he is. Nothing in particular. I was just saying that there are different kinds of servants. Is that so? Well, I guess it was good for me to know, so it was at least kind of helpful. Then let's move on to the next topic. Well, actually, this is mostly about Saber anyway. I do remember you saying you wanted to talk to me about something this morning. Yes, it's nothing big, but I was curious. Might be a bit late in the game for this, but do you know the legend of King Arthur? The legend of King Arthur? I've been reminded of it more than enough the past few days. I know as much as an ex-person, although I didn't know King Arthur was a girl. Right, her sex doesn't matter though. King Arthur being a girl wouldn't change the legend. As long as King Arthur managed to hide that fact from everyone, she would be treated as a man anyway. Fortunately, King Arthur had a mage called Merlin in his service. Merlin was truly devilish, half incubus actually, so it would have been easy for him to hide King Arthur's sex, or prepare a child who shouldn't have been born. Yeah, I bet. So, my concern is a discrepancy between the legend and the saber we have in front of us. Emiya, do you know what Excalibur was? Why ask this now? Excalibur is a symbol of King Arthur. It's the sword fairies gave her, famed for being able to cut through anything without even dulling. Yeah, that's about what I figured you'd say. Tosaka looks oddly triumphant. Don't be cocky. What you figured I'd say was basically the right answer. Huh? Was that a weird thing to say? Yes, you and King Arthur made the same mistake. If Merlin was around, he would probably mock you for being a fool. Why is that? The sword in the stone was an Excalibur. That sword broke. He later received another sword from a fairy in the lake, and that was Excalibur, right? Well, this is exposing my lack of knowledge about King Arthur. I did kind of know there were two swords, but I didn't really know that Excalibur wasn't the sword in the stone. In my mind, they were one and the same. Yep, when King Arthur received Excalibur, Merlin asked, "My king." Okay, that sounds like Reen's voice actor. Which do you prefer? The sword or the sheath? King Arthur answered the sword without a moment's hesitation, but Merlin scolded the king for that. Do not mistake their worth. The sword may cut your enemies, but the sheath protects you. So long as you possess that sheath, you will spill not a single drop of blood, nor sustain any injury. The sheath, rather than the blade, is what you should value. Tosaka skillfully acts out the parts of King Arthur and Merlin. Look at you, Tosaka, you're getting into the part. So what's your point? Oh, come on, do you still not get it? It means King Arthur is immortal. Excalibur is an invincible noble phantasm in both offense and defense, which is why Saber should be able to heal immediately. Tosaka, Saber's wounds do heal. Yes, that's true, but Saber's self-healing abilities come from using a great amount of magical energy, and that sounds like it's separate from the sheath of the legendary Excalibur. I see. If you say so, it's probably true. Then here's my question. Oh, it's so hard to drink from this bottle. I think I just need to do this. I think I just need to open it up. There we go. It's really annoying on a bottle like this to be opening and closing it. It's not a simple thing to open. I mean, it is simple, but it takes effort. You say that King Arthur's immortal, then why and how did King Arthur die? The legend ends with King Arthur's death, right?
Huh?
Tosaka's mouth drops open. After freezing up for a few seconds, she grinds her teeth and looks away.
Oh, right.
Excalibur's sheath was stolen. Ah, rookie mistake right there. I'd forgotten, but according to legend, King Arthur's fate was sealed the moment the king lost the all-important sheath. So are you convinced now, Tosaka? Yeah, go ahead and make fun of me if you want. She doesn't mean that. I can tell she's ready to kick me in the head the moment I laugh at her. It's all good as long as you understand now. But why did that bother you so much? It shouldn't matter whether Saber gets hurt or not. Shut up! I might just have gotten a little arrogant, thinking she would be invincible if that were the case. I make mistakes sometimes too, you know. This is a tough one. Would there be any benefit in me pointing out that she makes mistakes a lot, not just sometimes? By the time the sun sets, the rain stopped completely. Based on our conversation during breakfast, we're headed to town to look for the other master. But I should check something beforehand. I should check Saber's intentions. What is her purpose in fighting? But I shouldn't just ask her straight out. I need to be casual about it. I hyped myself up a bit, then pushed to my feet. The living room seems like a good starting place. I'm gonna leverage the peaceful pre-dinner mood to get through Saber's stubborn nature. What if, hypothetically, what would we do if we won the Holy Grail War? So much for casual. It's like really obvious. I thought about it a lot and couldn't come up with anything smooth, so blunt it is. Huh? Huh? All three of them offer more or less the same response. There were slightly different expressions. Like I said, after we win, I want to talk about what to do once we obtain the Holy Grail. Yeah, we got that, thanks. Where did this come from? Saber and Ilya don't nod, but they do seem to share an opinion on the subject. I guess this was kind of weird to bring up out of nowhere. But I have to play dumb for now. Yeah, well, I'm just asking. There are only 3 servants left, so it's not such an unrealistic thought. So, you know, the end is kind of in sight. Well, you might be right. I guess even Shiro could be thinking about that by now. You did join the war, so I guess it's no surprise you've got your mind on the reward now that you've been risking your life for this. Yeah, I would think that. I'm glad Tosaka likes to focus on the reason for things. Tosaka will allow for the possibility of anything that seems logical, which is really one of her better qualities. This is just something I brought up to discuss, though. So what about you, Tosaka? What would you do if you got the Holy Grail? I try to be as natural as possible with this. Yeah, start with Tosaka, then transition into Saber. Let's see. I really only ever thought about winning. There's nothing I want to wish for with the Holy Grail. I'd take the Holy Grail, but I never thought about what I'd do with it. So she's fighting because she doesn't want to lose. I figured that was the case, but didn't know for sure until she said it herself.
I don't believe this. You seemed like the one person who would have had it all worked out, but you actually thought about it the least.
Huh. Say what you want. What about you then, Elysfield?
I don't know. I was just told not to give up on the Holy Grail to anyone because it's mine. It's mine to begin with, so I obviously don't care.
Is that so? So you're saying you enjoy the Holy Grail War more than the Holy Grail?
Of course. I only came here to win. I don't care what it gets used for.
They're 2 peas in a pod. The 2 stare at each other in silence. They seem to be coming to some sort of understanding. Saber doesn't say anything. She probably doesn't intend to join the conversation. No matter how much she resists, I still have to ask. I have a good idea of your goals. I try to chat as naturally as possible. So what about you, Saber? She's been quiet this whole time. Saber doesn't reply. Sensing that something's amiss, Tosaka and Ilya stop and turn towards Saber. The silence stretches out for maybe a minute. I need not remind you and remind any of you of this, but it is my duty to obtain the Holy Grail. I know little of the Holy Grail's potential, but so long as it is a Holy Grail, I must obtain it. And if it is possible, I will have my wish granted. There it is. Saber's just said she has a wish of her own. I see. So what's your wish? I try to calm my racing heart and keep composed as I ask. Saber doesn't answer. Fine. That's fine. If she can't answer, chances are good it's because her wish is a selfish one. Knowing Saber, she may hesitate to reveal her wish to anyone if she's wishing for something selfish. And I think I'd rather she keep quiet than make something up. I can feel myself trying to back away from the question I raised.
Is it really that complicated? Grandfather said the servants want to come back to life in this world. They want the Holy Grail for a second chance at life. Isn't that the case with you, Saber?
Saber jerks her head up. If that's what she wanted, there'd be no problem. Which means... No, I have no interest in a second life. My only goal is to obtain the Holy Grail. The price I paid to have a chance at obtaining the Holy Grail was becoming a servant. I figured that much. Someone who took an oath and drew the sacred sword wouldn't seek out a second life.
Hold on. You became a servant just to obtain the Holy Grail? You formed a contract when you became a heroic spirit?
Yes, I asked to seek the Holy Grail in exchange for becoming a servant.
What? Are you saying you weren't summoned as a servant to help a master get the Holy Grail, but you chose to become a servant so you can get the Holy Grail yourself?
Tosaka stares at Saber. She tilts her head, confused.
So Saber wasn't summoned because she's a heroic spirit, but because she just volunteered to join the war.
Interesting.
But as long as she's the servant, she's supposed to be a reputable heroic spirit. That would mean she can't affect the world herself, so Saber must have gone around the rules for servants, which she obviously hasn't. Hold on a minute. I need to organize my thoughts.
Sorry, I've got like a sort of bubble in my chest. No, you need do nothing of the sort. You are correct, Reen. I am different than the other servants. I have yet to become a complete servant.
Not a complete servant?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, first of all, what does it mean to become a servant? Saber just said she agreed to become a servant as the price she had to pay to obtain the Holy Grail, which means... Hold on a minute. Are servants forced to fight as a price to get what they want?
No, that is incorrect. Servants are special familiars that exist only for the Holy Grail War. A servant is created through special summoning magecraft, which employs the characteristics of heroic spirits. They are already heroic spirits, so there are no rules which say that servants must work because they are given something. Right, the servant system uses heroic spirits, which are guardian incarnations. It's working with something that already exists, so neither servants nor masters have to pay a price to use this system. But I have heard that before becoming a servant, they have to pay a price to become a heroic spirit in the first place. Heroic spirits are guardians for humans. Even after their deaths, they work to protect humanity and prevent the destruction of the human world. And in order to become a guardian, the person must, while they are still active as a hero in their lifetime, make a deal of some kind. That's the contract to become a heroic spirit, a ritual to give themselves to the world after they die. The beneficiaries of this exchange become heroes, and after they've done what they wanted to do as a hero and eventually died, they repay that debt by becoming heroic spirits. Basically, in order to become a hero in life, they go into a sort of debt, which they then repay as a heroic spirit after death. Masters like us use servants because we swoop in and make use of that debt heroic spirits are trying to repay. So you're saying humans become heroes by making some sort of trade, and in return, they get used and summoned as heroic spirit familiars after their death. Which means the deal Saber made to become a heroic spirit was for the Holy Grail. Since Saber obtained the Holy Grail in her lifetime, the price she has to pay is serving as a heroic spirit, a sort of guardian, even after death.
That doesn't sound right. Saber said that her goal wasn't the Holy Grail, but she already obtained it, since she became a hero in exchange for the Holy Grail. That is not correct, Shiro. I have not yet obtained the Holy Grail. Well, can you tell us all the information then? Altria, King Arthur's wish was to obtain the Holy Grail during their lifetime. I had to obtain the Holy Grail before I died. That is why I agreed to become a guardian after I died, if I could first obtain the Holy Grail. As Reen explained, humans form contracts with the world to become heroes. In exchange, they receive powers beyond human ability, which they pay for by serving after death. But I did not require the world's help to become a hero. Fortunately, King Arthur required no such aid. She didn't need any help to become a hero, so Saber became a hero on her own. Yeah, she was already a massive hero. Yet you are here as a heroic spirit. Does that mean you asked for something else from the world after King Arthur became a hero? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I'm trying to do the voice. Yes, I required the Holy Grail in my final moments. A wish that must be granted presented itself, so I needed the Holy Grail. That is why I formed a heroic spirit contract. I offered to wield my sword as a heroic spirit after my death, so long as I could lay hands upon the Holy Grail. In her last moments, she wished for the Holy Grail's miracle. Now I understand her feelings. The blood-soaked hill, swords standing as gravestones, the bodies of so many knights, a lone king whose reign ended in betrayal. She didn't deserve the end she met. Even if she hadn't a wish of her own before, she must have thought, I can't die here. This isn't the end I want, and that's why there's no shame in using the power of the Holy Grail to prolong her life. I see. So you seized the means of obtaining the Holy Grail by selling yourself after death. But Saber, your condition was obtaining the Holy Grail while you were still alive, right? Then... Yes, I could not complete my search for the Holy Grail while I was alive. I, King Arthur, could not obtain the Holy Grail even at the very end. But that would nullify my contract. For the world to make a servant of me, it must provide a Holy Grail while King Arthur yet lives. And that is why. King Arthur will not die until she obtains the Holy Grail. That is to say, she can't die. That means you're... Yes, time for King Arthur, for me, stopped at the moment of my death. I should have died a long time ago, but that does not fulfill the contract. Interesting. This is definitely something I didn't know about her. King Arthur was summoned as a servant right at the moment of death, and she will die the moment she obtains the Holy Grail. So it's not that time stopped, you're just stuck in time. It doesn't matter how many times you repeat your fight as a servant, because obtaining the Holy Grail and fulfilling your contract is predetermined. That is correct. I will one day obtain the Holy Grail, and my contract will be fulfilled. That is why I can be summoned as a heroic spirit in another age. The outcome of my arrangement has already been determined. Very interesting. This does not apply to the Holy Grail in this town. Should there be a chance of obtaining the Holy Grail, I should be summoned to any battlefield. One day I will obtain the Holy Grail, and once my wish has been granted, time, stopped for me at the moment of death, will resume its flow. King Arthur will meet her end, and in exchange for obtaining the Holy Grail, she will become a heroic spirit. So for you, it's like a dream just before dying, one you can't wake from. This Holy Grail war is just part of that dream, and the only way for you to wake is to get a Holy Grail. Aww. You believed I could not enter spirit form because Shiro is inexperienced, but that is incorrect. I cannot enter spirit form because I am still alive. What a twist! That's something I definitely didn't know, and I constantly said about that's why, but that's not why. Interesting. It may only be a technicality, but I am considered a living person, just like during the last Holy Grail War. Saber's tone is apologetic. She probably feels bad for laying the blame for her not being able to enter spirit form on my ineptitude. I don't care about that, but there's something I need to ask. Saber, what do you mean you're not dead? I got that you won't die until you obtain the Holy Grail, and based on how you described it, you haven't been alive since the time of King Arthur. But then, who are you right now? You're not a clone of the real person or anything, right? That is correct. Heroic spirits, when summoned, are like copies of a person's original body, but I have yet to reach that state. Until I obtain a Holy Grail, I appear as I am the moment of my death. As Reen mentioned, King Arthur is now stopped in the Great River of Time. From where I am stranded, I jump both forward and back along the river's flow, and after I attempt to obtain the Holy Grail, I return to where time stopped for me. They make a diagram. I try to diagram it in my head. It's pretty simple once I visualize it. King Arthur is stopped at the moment before she dies, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, I do get it. I don't need them to explain it this much, you know. She manages to obtain, she'll be swept back to the flow of time into the history we know. Maybe that's how heroic spirits work. When they die, they transform back to a sort of nexus where the flow of time stops. And then when they're summoned, they're taken to that point in time and then disappear without ever returning. That's probably what is meant by heroic spirits being doubles. That makes sense. It's kind of sad as well. Kind of like a clone made from their original selves. The heroic spirit, which completely retains the abilities and memories they had while alive, appears in this world and gains more knowledge, but it's all useless. They have no means to return to their original body and instead just disappear. And so no matter how many times or how many different eras they've been summoned, there will never be any inconsistencies in the heroic spirit's memories. From the moment the person becomes a heroic spirit, they will never change. Even if they obtain new knowledge, they'll just disappear once their role is over. This is honestly answering a lot of questions I've had about Saber throughout this series. So, if for nothing else, this scene was worth playing the game for, because now this is making more sense to me. So in that sense, Saber's not a complete servant. After each time she's summoned, she eventually returns to her own time. She goes back to that moment where she's about to die on that blood-soaked hill. That happens in the anime. She keeps going back to that time. Hold it. So then what? If you manage to get the Holy Grail this time, you return to your own time and you use the Holy Grail there? That's altering the past. Time traveling or intervening in a parallel world is magic. You can't do something like that. But the Holy Grail makes that possible. My contract dictates that I will become a servant if I can use the Holy Grail. Even if using the Holy Grail causes a person Altria to disappear, that is simply the cost of me becoming a heroic spirit. Saber is so matter-of-fact about it. It doesn't sound right, though. Using the Holy Grail to grant her wish is fine, but why would that mean she has to disappear? What the hell? Altria is gonna disappear by using the Holy Grail? That's messed up. Saber, you're not going to... I see the image of a girl dying on that hill all alone. You're not gonna use the Holy Grail to save yourself? Why? What are you asking, Shiro? My only desire is to save my nation from ruin. That's what we knew already. It hasn't been said in this game yet, but it has been said in the anime. Why? And yet, I try to push air from my lungs and get that one word out. There is no reason I should not. I could not protect my nation. I became king to protect the nation, but I failed to fulfill that duty. And that is when I thought, perhaps the sword in the stone was wrong to have chosen me. That's ridiculous. Why would she think that? No, that is a doubt I have always carried with me. Perhaps I was never fit to be king. Perhaps there was another hero who would have been a better choice. Even in the moment I pulled the sword, there must have been a better king out there, one able to save the nation while I could not. And so if I could use the power of the Holy Grail to redo the selection of the king, then perhaps we could... Is she saying that her nation wouldn't be destroyed if she was able to go back to that moment? I feel faint. I'm really angry at Saber for wishing for such a ridiculous thing. The feeling passes in an instant, though. I probably look like a deer in headlights. Isn't it obvious? Saber's wish is not for herself, and on top of that, she wishes for her own elimination. She exists because she became king by drawing the sacred sword. To pretend that never happened means she simply wouldn't exist. I'd say we use the Holy Grail to grant her wish. She would never become king. Then what would happen to the Saber we know? Even if it's only temporary, she already exists as a heroic spirit. She would continue on. She's already paid the price for obtaining the Holy Grail, and the Saber I know would continue existing even if Altria never becomes king. She'll be cut off from the past and future. She will always and only ever be the lonely knight dying on that blood-soaked hill. That's idiotic. I won't allow it. There's no hope of salvation there. Even if she was able to do it all over, and there really was a better king, and her nation did manage to last longer, and if she was herself saved, it'd all be lies. Even if it made everyone around her happy, I can't just let the past 10 years she fought through be a lie. No, you can't do that. You can't redo things. It wouldn't mean anything if you did, Saber. Shiro, don't use the Holy Grail for something like that. You obtain the Holy Grail because you fight for it. You should use that miracle for yourself. But I have said I will be using it for myself. I, Altria, must fulfill her duty as king. Gah. How does she not understand? You've already done more than your duty. You've done so much already. You didn't give up even when you were feared, or even when you were betrayed. You held onto your sword until the end of that hill. So why? Why do you have to keep such promises even after you die? Saber looks bewildered. Too late to regret what I said. I shouldn't have just blurted out what I've been dreaming of Saber's past. Oh yeah, that's him revealing it, right? A heavy silence hangs between us. I can't think of what to say. Even I can tell speaking up will just make things worse right now. But I can't just keep quiet. Saber, I don't like it when people aren't rewarded for their hard work. It's wrong. It's not fair. I get that it's childish, but I want to believe that humans can find happiness if they really work for it. I'm not going to lose to the other masters. I'm claiming the Holy Grail, no question. That's why I want you to make your own wish. That way, I'll actually find some meaning in this stupid war. That's the conclusion I reached. This is one of the more interesting scenes. I'm trying to end the scene because I need to stop recording right now. but the actual scene is one of the most interesting things that we've come across, I think. I don't know what the Holy Grail is, nor do I know if it's even something you should try to obtain. But if it could save Saber even a little, I'll go all out for her. Gah! The sound of heavy bells rings out, and the house suddenly goes dark. The air changes immediately. The lights go out, but Saber, Tosaka, and I don't say a word. We try to gauge our surroundings with our other senses. Alright, I'll find out why next time I play. The air changes immediately. The lights go out, but Saber, Tosaka, and I don't say a word. We try to gauge our surroundings with our other senses. The loud ringing stops and the living room goes silent. And yet, a soft rustling sound ripples through the house. Is it that alarm this house's bounded field? I nod in silence. It's the same sound as when Lancer broke in. Then that can only mean... Gah! The sounds are getting closer, louder. Something is sliding against or across something else. It sounds like a swarm of bugs rushing toward the light. The only place that sound doesn't seem to be coming from is the living room. It's not even been a minute since the lights went out, and we're surrounded on all sides by that sound. An enemy. But it doesn't seem like a servant. There's just too many of them. Whatever people might say, I do have some knowledge of mages and magecraft. Even I can sense that there's a lot of magical energy coming from a ton of people or things surrounding the house. 20 at least. But they also seem weirdly light. I don't sense any human will or intent. The flapping sounds seem to be coming from any enemy puppets.
Oh, so they did come. They've been running away from me this entire time, but now that Berserker's gone, here they are again. What a shrewd servant.
Ilya speaks up amid the flapping sounds. She, unlike the three of us, is strangely calm. Do you know who that is, Ilya?
Of course I do. I know all the servants. Caster is out there, and she's brought quite an entourage with her. They look like cheap golems made with dragon teeth.
Ilya is so casual about this, and just then the sound stops. I grab the wooden sword in the living room. Saber and Tosaka seem to be waiting for me to make a move. Do I have to protect Reen and, well, maybe Ilya, because she doesn't have Berserker anymore. And I mean, Reen doesn't have Archer. But they're both capable mages. If I go with Saber, then I get to spend more time with Saber, and maybe I can help her, because Cast is pretty powerful. I'm gonna head out with Saber. It's clear who the enemy is. If Cast is attacking with an entire army, there's only one thing for us to do. Us staying here won't do anything. Saber, come with me. Tosaka, you take Ilya.
What? Why? I don't want to babysit Reen. That's my line, and I thought you said you were going to listen to Shiro. He's telling you to stay back, so no arguing. I don't care. I'm more useful than Saber.
You being more useful than Saber, by your words, is why I'm leaving you two alone. Because you two can handle yourself. Tosaka grabs Ilya from behind in a full Nelson and covers her mouth. Ilya, her voice muffled, continues shouting insults and expletives.
Got it. I'll protect Ilya. I'm counting on you to defeat Caster.
Thanks, but try not to overdo it. You're better off running than fighting if it comes to it. Tosaka nods, as if to say she doesn't have to be reminded. I turn my back to Tosaka and head toward the veranda.
Saber.
Yes, I know. I will take care of Shiro. Saber follows me after nodding to Tosaka. Ugh! In that instant, I doubt my own eyes. Jesus! A sword swings down at me. I stand, stunned, as the blade descends toward my head. Ah! I twist away and parry with my wooden sword. Even I don't believe it. My body just reacted the instant I knew I was in mortal peril. The enemy attacks again without missing a beat. A smooth mechanical movement. A fluid, accurate attack. But that's it. It's accurate, but it's not sophisticated, and it lacks the brutality of a killing strike. It seems pathetic next to the strength of Saber's strikes, like it's barely moving in comparison to Berserker's incredible speed. Back against the wall, I parry again. As I step back against the wall, Saber strikes like lightning. Yeah, she probably chopped them both in half. Shiro, are you alright? See for yourself. I got a little spooked, but I managed. Oh, the little smile that she did. Why is there a double quotation mark here? That will not do. At times like this, you must stand behind me. Please be more careful. Saber scolds me for my carelessness. She's right, but I didn't want to just stay behind her. Shiro, are you listening? I am. So, Saber, what was that thing? The hallway's empty. Whatever hideous thing Saber saved me from was completely annihilated by her attack. It was exactly as Ilya's view said. It was a soldier made by using a monster's body as a catalyst. It seems more like a golem than an automaton, but it seems to be of low quality. I will have no trouble defeating them even if we are surrounded. Where the fuck is my water bottle? Hello? There it is. Gah! I don't know where they were hiding. How the hell did they manage to sneak in? How the hell many did they manage to sneak in? I guess that makes sense, but I've never heard that it used like that before. Countless others surround the house, many times more than I see here. Oh god, I just spilled water all over my lap. That's fine, it'll dry. Shiro, next to you. I leap away from the wall. Why you? I strike at the bones with my wooden sword. Saber sweeps away the bones crawling toward my exposed back. The bones move jerkily toward us, attacking with the same unnatural movements. It's not hard to fight them off, but we're destroying more of the house with every strike. And I only have a wooden sword. Even if I use strengthening on it, it won't last. As much as I hope I'm wrong, it seems like the bones heading for us are endless. I really hope this isn't gonna go on until we both collapse from exhaustion. Damn, where are these things coming from? I can't help but complain as I fight back to back with Saber. This is a cool design for enemies, I think. There aren't that many bones coming at me. Some seem to be coming from inside the house, but most seem to be coming from the yard. Saber is slashing away at the bones coming from the yard. It looks like they're headed toward the living room. Tosaka and Ilya are in there, and Saber has her hands full dealing with the bones heading that way. Saber readies her sword. There may be no need to hide it now. Her golden sword is ready to demonstrate its true power. Wait, Saber! Don't use Excalibur right now! I don't care if you destroy the house. Okay, I might care a little, but we're in a residential area. You know what'll happen if you use it here. I shout to Saber as I bat away the bone striking at me. I will obey your order, but dealing with so many enemies at once is not ideal. We could find ourselves in trouble if we do not sweep them all aside in a single blow. I know, these things are like familiars, right? Then if we defeat the one who's controlling them, that should wipe out the whole army. Saber, can you find Caster? There's no need. Caster is in the yard. She's not concealing herself, which tells me she hopes to lure us to her. Fine. Let's give her what she wants. We aren't gonna last like this. I do not mind, but are you saying we are going to attack Caster there? The yard is just ahead. If Caster's just out there, she shouldn't be too difficult to reach. But if we do that, we won't be defending the house. Saber's fighting the bones off now, but as soon as she's outside, the wall holding them back will be all gone. I should... believe in Tosaka. Ah, I hear glass shattering. I hear the sound of intense fighting coming from the living room. Shiro, your orders, please. There is no time to be indecisive. I know. My delaying is making the situation worse. We're going after Caster. I already said Tosaka should take care of Ilya. Then let us go, Master. I will entrust my back to you. She hurries down the hall, mowing down bones as she goes. The bone soldiers disappear before getting anywhere near Saber. They are like vanishing snowflakes. Saber scatters so many in her path, it looks like a snowstorm. She said she'd trust her back to me, but she pretty clearly doesn't need me to protect her. I'm once again reminded how skilled of a swordman Saber is. Saber charges through them unwavering. She cuts her way straight to the source of these bones. Her only goal now is to defeat the yet unseen sixth servant that invaded the house. Saber stops. The soldiers, which had been coming at us in droves, are suddenly gone. This must be our destination. A distorted human figure looms ahead of us. It wears a robe of some kind, but the robe itself is so dark that it looks more like a hole in the night. So I remember in Unlimited Blade Works, they showed Caster's like full face, like, you know, her proper full appearance when she, like, at the end of it, you know. I mean, they showed her mostly up until then in little bits, but then we got to see like the real her, and it was like she was quite pretty. I want to see an image in this Fate route of her full look. But for now, we'll just get this: a dark shadow. As soon as I lay eyes on the figure, I'm struck by an indescribable sense of anxiety. Are you Saber? Ah, yes. You certainly would be capable of defeating Berserker. My soldiers, then, would be no deterrent to you. The figure chuckles. It seems the dark figure is the master of those bone creatures, Caster. But there's no master. There's no sign of a master nearby. Maybe she's the same as Lancer, able to move even far from her master. Has your contract been terminated? Oh wait, that was Saber. Has your contract been terminated? Saber challenges her directly with the question. Yes, that man was unfit to be my master, so I rid myself of him. He is no more. I can't see that expression on the robed servant's face, but I can hear the terrible coldness in Caster's voice. Is that true? Did she actually do that? We know that she could use Rule Breaker, right? So she could use Rule Breaker to sever herself from the teacher. But did she? Master Killer. So your master? He's long dead. But that is not a problem for me, Saber. We are soul eaters. We are surrounded on all sides by sources of magical energy. All that remains is, simply obtaining the Holy Grail. Then there is nothing else to worry about. So you wish to live in this world too? I do not know what heroic spirit you are, but have you abandoned what pride you had for this? Goodness. And would you not say letting yourself be used as a tool for humans is casting your pride aside? I could never endure that, both then and now. I grew tired of working for another's benefit. I prefer to be the one pulling the strings. You have no right to criticize. I figured as much, but your misdeeds do not concern me. Saber tilts her body just slightly. She's only about 10 meters from Caster. Saber should be able to close that distance and bring Caster down in a heartbeat. How nasty of you. I came here simply to talk, but you will not hear me? I will have you know, I've been gentle here. There is nothing for us to discuss. You will die here. Saber's intent only on killing. I'm not about to oppose her in this case. Yeah, no, let her. All I smell from Caster is blood. She must be telling the truth about murdering her master. Her raid tonight was clearly intended to kill everyone in the house. So there's no reason for me to stop Saber. Besides, Caster isn't even a threat to Saber. Even if I can see Caster's abilities, she's the weakest when it comes to one-on-one combat. If Saber engages her, she can only lose. Don't do it, Saber. Even with all that in mind, I can't shake off this sense of anxiety. It's not the same feeling of hopeless, inevitable death I got whenever we were in Berserker's presence. Do I just have some sort of aversion to her, or is it a warning of something dangerous? Is his instincts worried about Rulebreaker? Forget about me. Somehow my left hand is aching to warn me that Saber should stay away from that thing. Gah. I hesitated too long. Saber launched herself in the dark shadow. Oh, we got to see this version of her at least. Caster smiles. She doesn't look at all disturbed as Saber rushes towards her. She mutters, Atlas. I can't understand what she said, but it sends something beyond words straight into our minds. The world lurches and distorts. The air grows denser around Saber. I even feel a tremendous impact. The ground flexes like something massive slammed into Saber from above. No way. She activated some kind of magecraft without moving a muscle. Actually, I think she murmured something like an incantation. Incantations can be shortened. The simpler the magecraft, the shorter the spell can be made. But this isn't by any means simple magecraft. Not many mages could visualize such a thing in a single breath. Even if it were possible, they'd need to prepare a catalyst ahead of time like Tosaka does. But Caster triggered the magecraft with a murmured word. I've never even heard of anything like this. If that is Caster's magecraft, she's no mere mage. Saber! Saber hovers there, frozen. Her feet still kick in midair. She hangs suspended there. The air around her seems to have thickened into gelatin. I can't get close. Some sort of invisible barrier holds me back. The murkiness seems confined to Saber, but so long as her feet don't touch the ground, she can't move. You underestimated me, Saber. I don't know how your mages fared in your life, but I lived during the Age of Gods. To these modern mages, what I do must seem like magic. A ridiculing laugh echoes out from the depths of that dark robe. Saber still suspended, helpless in the air. Oh. Is this really all you were capable of, Caster? Oh, shit. Please just destroy it. She dismisses this as if it was some dull trick. Oh, shit. Magic resistance. It repels even my magecraft. Caster steps back. After casually nullifying Caster's magecraft, Saber surges toward her at lightning speed. But I don't want to do this, but I think there's a reason they're telling us that Shiro's anxieties, like, that he has, you know. I think she's going to take out Rulebreaker. Saber raises her sword. She's already closed in on Caster. No. Don't, Saber! I desperately sprint towards Saber, my heart racing. Go. Saber suddenly halts. It's not clear whether Caster did anything. Saber tenses up after sensing something from Caster. You... that is... Saber twists away to dodge. However, bony arms burst from the ground to grab her legs. I wasn't expecting you to have such foresight. But this ends here, Saber. Okay, so we made the right decision, I think. A sharp blade emerges from the fold of Caster's robe. Is it curvy? Is it like spiky? Yeah, it is. It's an oddly shaped dagger. Thin and brittle, the blade isn't meant for killing. Saber regards it in disgust, and Caster strikes, clearly seeing her opportunity for victory. Being grabbed from the ground must have surprised Saber. As Saber's unable to dodge or deflect the falling dagger, it simply takes the blow, looking astonished. Why you? I hear Caster's voice from behind me somewhere. I can't see her expression. Did we hit her? The only thing I can do is throw myself in front of Saber and take the blow in her place. Oh, okay. Ow. It wasn't graceful. I didn't have the confidence to just step in and take the dagger to the chest, so instead I tried to shield Saber, hugging her to obscure the caster's target. And so caster's dagger plunged into my back, tearing through my spine in a moment of unbelievable pain. Ah! I stopped myself from crying out in pain and muster my strength to support Saber. Shiro. I can't hear what she's saying, even as close as she is to my ear. Get back, Saber. Get behind me. No, behind you is where Caster is. Don't do that. Saber understands before I can even gather my voice to tell her to jump. I go flying. Saber shakes off the bony hands gripping her legs and carries me with her. Shiro, your wound! Saber's voice is urgent. She lays me gently on the ground, but the pain only grows worse. It feels like scissors tore open my back and someone poured lead down my spine. The pain is unreal. Shiro! Stay calm, Shiro! But I'm not exactly losing my mind over it. Hearing Saber practically shouting actually makes me calmer. Dummy, you don't have to shout, I can hear you. This is nothing. It just hurts. Forget about me. Take care of Caster. I point in Caster's direction, my head still down. Yes, I will settle things right away. Please hold on a little longer. Saber turns towards Caster. So that was your noble phantasm, was it not, Caster? Saber's voice is harsh, angry. The black shadow clicks her tongue in irritation and raises the strange dagger in her hand. Yes, as you can see, it is unfit for killing anyone, but as you have sensed, it is my magical trump card, with limitless power for a single purpose. If you do not wish for it to touch you, I advise against coming near me, Saber. Caster's talking bold, but she doesn't seem as composed as earlier. Even a powerful mage like Caster can't hurt Saber as long as she's only using magecraft. Whatever her noble phantasm might be, it can't hurt Saber even if she surprises her with it. You should beat her, no problem. I give my orders through gritted teeth. Oh, are you sure, Saber? You could certainly corner me, but who will protect him while you do? Shall I remind you that my magecraft is only ineffective against you? Can you imagine what I might do with my back up against a wall, and you not there to protect the boy? Why you... Saber's voice rumbles up from deep in her chest. The rattling of bones grows louder. I'm kneeling on the ground, and Saber holds her sword, defending me as the bones surround us. Oh god. I'm trying different ways to drink from this bottle, and that one was barely the most successful yet. Still kind of sucked though. Damn it. I messed up. Even if I managed to save Saber, there's no point with me being left so weak. I can't move properly, so I'm just slowing Saber down. Caster would be no threat to Saber alone, but with me to worry about. You said you came to talk, Caster. What? Saber! Please be quiet, Master. This is the best choice right now. Saber lowers her sword. Man. For some reason, Saber telling me to be quiet, like, gets my heart going. I think I hear Caster laugh amid the sound of the rattling bones all around us. Let us hear what you have to say, Caster. Depending on what conditions you offer, we might let you go. Are you quite mad? Do you not understand your lives are in my hands? Get too bold and I just might crush you. Do not misunderstand your position. You hold my master's life in your hands, not mine. Should you snuff out that life, I will not hesitate to attack. I will use every ounce of power in my sword to burn you to cinders, even if I disappear to do so. The air around us goes cold. Saber's words intimidate Caster, I can feel it. Fine. I will not touch the boy. You are my target in any case. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to just let one master off. What? I was your target all this time. Indeed. I cannot simply ignore the heroic spirit who defeated Berserker. You and I, along with Lancer, are the only servants who remain. With you as an ally, Lancer would be no threat at all. Only 3 remain. Does that mean Assassin was defeated? Who knows? But he is gone now, so that must mean he was defeated. A servant who can't even protect his own lord deserves no more than that. Gah. Assassin was defeated? Does that mean the Master in Ryudo Temple's gone? I didn't fight them, or even know who they were, but now there's one less Master, so the only remaining servants are Saber, Caster, Lancer, and Lancer, who hasn't shown up since that first night. This conversation is over. What I want is your noble phantasm. If you do not wish your master to die, then kindly give me your sword. There would be no point in doing so. Only I can wield this sword. If you are a heroic spirit, you should know very well that a noble phantasm can only be used by its owner. Oh yes, I suppose I will just have to take you as well then, Saber. No matter how skilled the knight, they can be persuaded once captured, and you are my type too. I so look forward to teaching you manners. Her voice drips with amusement. I feel myself on the verge of passing out, even as my anger boils over. I try to shove the pain aside and start to force myself to stand on numb legs. You piece of... I'm not gonna let Saber get captured because of me. I decided I'm going to protect Saber, so I'm not letting a wound like this bring me down. I grab my wooden sword and start slashing at the bones surrounding us. No, Shiro! Saber's voice is brittle, tense. Oh-ho. I'm hiccuping. If you want to kill yourself, I won't stop you. Caster mocks me as I struggle. Bones crack and rattle. And as if to muffle all those sounds. Oh my god! What the fuck? The fuck was that? The bones are swept aside. Was that Archer? Yeah, in a blink of an eye by a sudden volley of arrows. What? We all stand up dumbfounded. The arrows that rained down on us disappear as if they'd been an illusion. But they weren't. The entire horde of bones is gone. Who's there? Caster looks up. Saber must have noticed earlier. Well, before Caster, she stares up toward the wall in disbelief. Oh, it's Gilgamesh? Oh, hell yeah. I don't understand what I'm seeing. There's a golden figure standing with the moon behind them. It's a man clad in golden armor, looking down at the yard with a cruel smile. Who's there? Caster raises her voice, instinctively realizing that this is the one who annihilated her troops. He gives no answer. He's not even looking at Caster. His eyes are fixed on one person alone, Saber. Answer! I am asking who you are! Caster's voice is heavy with emotion. The golden armored man finally looks at her. Caster gasps as the man's red eyes bore into her. His gaze is impossibly cold. He doesn't even see Caster as human. I can tell as far away as I am. I don't blame Caster for being intimidated, like some icy hand has a grip on her heart, since she looks straight into his eyes. Why are you getting in my way? Caster's voice trembles as she speaks. She must know she's doomed if she doesn't do something, but... I have no reason to address myself to a mongrel. Be gone, clown. His answer comes as a death sentence. I hear a loud snap. By the time I realize it's the sound of him clicking his fingers, the tragedy has begun. Oh my god. Myriad weapons appear in the air, shooting toward Caster like bullets from a machine gun. Caster raises her arms, a conceptual shield envelops her, it forms a glassy film in front of Caster. It's likely every bit as durable as Berserker himself, but her efforts are probably fruitless, as the barrier is merely glass. Her crystalline barrier shatters under the deadly rain of so many weapons. She sounds utterly dumbfounded, with not a modicum of concern for Caster as she pitifully tilts her head in wonder. The weapons tear through her dark robe. They are merciless. Spears tear into her, sending fabric flying, only for yet more of them to plunge into her body. Jesus. Swords cut down her falling form, while arrows sail towards an arm as it's about to hit the ground. An axe chops off a head, about to complain of pain. All of it brings Caster to untold peaks of agony. Jeez, man. This is how Caster's being dealt with? I love it. Just being bodied by Gilgamesh. She can't possibly survive. Caster, succumbing to an endless hail of so many different weapons, is no longer even recognizably human. The wind flows. Her tattered empty robe floats away. The shredded pieces of it fly skyward in the evening breeze. That torn robe tries valiantly to hold its form. Maybe because it's the only thing remaining to remind us of Caster. I'm completely speechless. My frozen mind is fixed on the miserable remnants of that robe that float as they float away. And then... Insolent fool! I told her to be gone from my sight. The sensible thing to do would have been to graciously commit suicide before me. The man in gold grunts contemptuously. What? I'm not hallucinating. The dark robe twists like the coils of a snake, then sprouts wings to fly away. But it's too late. I don't know what the man did. I only see a crack in the night sky itself. Like a wave breaking out at sea, the fault line engulfs the fluttering robe. It's like a person being run over by a steamroller. The robe falls, Caster's beneath it unscathed. And then... Jesus! Oh my god, a storm of magical swords rains down on her. Her scream splits the night. More swords fall upon her in response, and her scream grows louder. Pull them out! It hurts! Pull them out! Please! Caster must be able to heal herself like Saber. Even all those swords impaling her is still not enough to kill her, but it's hard to watch. The torrent of swords do not stop. Each weapon is different, no two are alike, and as much as I don't want to admit it, each of the weapons is a magical sword or spear, and is easily a match for a servant's noble phantasm. No way! This isn't possible! There can't be so many! An inexhaustible supply of noble phantasms rains down onto Caster. Seeing the way she struggles under it is just... Am I going to die? Am I gonna die from something so ridiculous as... How funny. This must be some joke. Let's hear her laugh. Damn. And that is the end of Caster. She disappears along with the black mist that was hiding her. The infinite cycle of torture that seemed to drag on forever lasted in actuality about 10 seconds. During that time, Saber stood scowling at the golden night. A mere mage, even mentioning capturing what belongs to the king of knights is a great sin. I am king, and she is mine. Any fool who meddles with a king's treasure is fit for nothing else but such a death. Now then, it has been a while, Saber. Do you remember the decision I made? His tone turns amicable as he addresses Saber. But Saber doesn't answer. She only glares all the more intensely at him. Why do you look at me like that? Have you not made your choice yet? God, I need to drink more water. I can feel my tongue is dry. I just know this is gonna leak water. And it's gonna do it out of nowhere. Oh my god. It's been 10 years. That should have been time enough to decide. I suppose it's only been 10 years for me. To you, it must seem like yesterday. What a foolish woman you are, making me wait for so long. He laughs heartily, my heart's pounding, partly from the disaster I just witnessed, but beyond that, the way he's looking at Saber makes me nauseous. Ah, some mongrels yet remain. He glances towards the house, annoyed. Huh? I look and see Tosaka and Ilya on the veranda in front of the living room. What is that? Ilya looks up at the man she's just seen a ghost. She strains her eyes for a moment, then shakes her head in disbelief.
No way. Who are you?
Can't you tell, fool? I am one of the heroic spirits you know so well.
You can't be.
Illy jumps off the veranda and glares at the man as if in challenge.
I don't know. I don't know you. There shouldn't be a servant I don't know about.
What? Wait, Ilya! My words don't reach her. I hope Ilya doesn't die here. Ilya releases a massive magical energy straight at the man. I hear it rushing through the air. He does nothing. A mirrored shield appears in front of him and reflects Ilya's attack back at her. She'd become so blind and desperate in her attack that now she has no time to react to it. Ilya can only stand there as her attack rebounds towards her. Oh, thank you, Reen. That hurt. Tosaka steps in and saves her, blocking the attack. I see. So we have an odd one this time around. I see they've done a bit of creative thinking to avoid repeating their mistake last time. He looks down at Ilya, scrutinizing her. He looks at Ilya the same way he looks at Saber, coldly, as though appraising prized possessions.
No! No, 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 no! I hate you!
Ilya glares at the man while Tosaka tries to hold her back. I could not possibly care less. Come now, open yourself up. Quickly now, you are the fifth one after all. He says it so simply. I'm not sure why that had any effect on her.
No.
Ilya trembles violently, then slumps to the ground. That's it. Nothing else can happen. Tosaka and I can only look up at the man. We completely understand. He's not looking at us. If either of us so much as speaks up, we'll meet the same fate as Caster. But not Saber. Her silence as she stares up at a golden knight is entirely different from ours. How and why have you manifested, Archer? Saber tries to keep her voice under control. Tosaka and I can only gasp in surprise. Excuse me. I require no reason. The Holy Grail is mine. What reason could I need to collect what is mine? Nonsense. You are not that kind of hero. Or rather, stop. Another word and you will be forced to fight, King of Knights. I intended to do so, but I've lost interest. This place is too unsightly. It is not fit to celebrate our reunion. And with that, the man in gold turns away. He turns his back to us as if to demonstrate that we are no threat. We shall meet again, Saber. My decision remains unchanged since our last meeting. Be prepared to make your choice by the time we meet. Next. He disappears. The tension fades, and the yard returns to the usual tranquility. But it's the only thing that returns to how it was. The Emir house is in shambles, and Ilya has fainted. And Saber, still with her back to us, remains silent. Damn, man. Cool to see Gilgamesh in action here, though. I set a futon out in the living room and lay the unconscious Ilya on it. She may have fainted, but her face is peaceful at least. Hey, don't look away. The bandage will slide off. I feel a hand slap my back. Ouch! Tosaka! Is that any way to treat the injured? Shut up! I'm treating your wound, so hold still. Come on, raise your right hand. I doubt you'd need it, but let me put some ointment on it. Cold! If you can feel it, you're fine. Come on, let me wrap it. She wraps a bandage around my right shoulder with surprising skill. It's past 10. After our battle with Caster, Tosaka begins treating my wounds as soon as we get back to the living room. Well, she started, but most of my wounds had already healed, and now she's just fussing over me. And we're done. Your body is nuts. Only vampires heal like you do. Are you sure you're human? I think she said something similar before. Hey, I'm just an ordinary human being. Even if I don't know what's going on with my body, I don't bother asking. Even I don't know, so don't bother asking. Don't mess with me. Who in the world could possibly be walking normally after getting their spinal cord severed? Look, it's useful, so I won't question it too much, but it's also getting creepy. Don't tell me you can't die unless your head is chopped off. The scary thing here is that Tosaka's serious. One of these days, she might actually try for my neck with an axe. You think so too, right, Saber? I think you're the cause, but still, he's damn near immortal. Huh? Are you saying Shiro's healing power is not his own? Of course not. Do you think someone who knows strengthening magecraft could do something like that? It's ridiculous. Ridiculousness can only be the result of his connection with you. Your own healing power must be flowing into him. Do you think so? I never felt that kind of connection with him before. If you are correct, my magical energy should be flowing into Shiro as we speak. More importantly, my healing power is not as strong as Shiro. Something curious about this. Now, I know Fate Zero was written after this and it was written by a different author, so, you know, technically the events there may not have been exactly how they happened or whatever, right? But I can't help but think of Fate Zero's events in relation to this. Because, because so many of the events clearly line up that I might as well just think of the whole story as lining up. But in Fate Zero, she knew about the scabbard, right? Or she was told about the scabbard or whatever. And, because, wasn't she? Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was never around. Maybe Kiritsugu just did that while she wasn't, like, just said to Iris Veal how it works or whatever, but nothing else. Saber, what's wrong? You just went pale. Saber stares off into space and apparently not even hearing Tosaka. No, it can't be. Saber shakes her head and looks down. Tosaka and I exchange looks. Saber's acting weird. I know why. Ever since that golden knight appeared, she's been pretty down. Well, let's put Shiro's issue on hold for now. Saber, did you know that gold guy we met earlier? Goldie said something about you being his or something. Saber doesn't answer. She obviously doesn't want to talk about it, but I still want to know. Tosaka's asking the questions I want answers to. Saber, if you know, then tell us. Who was the guy? You called him Archer. Yes. I hate to admit it, but I know that man. It should be impossible, though. There should only be 7 servants, so it shouldn't be possible for him to have been summoned as well. A servant? So he really is a servant. That's pretty obvious. That could be a real problem for us. His class is Archer. He is of course a completely different heroic spirit than the Archer who formed a contract with Reen. His abilities and temperament are different as well. I can tell. I only saw him briefly, but it was more than enough to get a sense of what a monster he is. Hold on a minute. That doesn't make sense. If he's an archer and a servant, that makes 8. But only 7 servants can be summoned at a time. One disappearing doesn't mean another pops up to take their place. Besides, even the Holy Grail doesn't have the magical energy to summon more than 7. There are only 7 servants because that's how many can be summoned at once. So how can they summon an 8th? Wait. Saber, did you meet him in the previous war? Yes, Reen. On the final day in the previous Holy Grail War, I fought him in the Sea of Fire. For a moment, my entire body tenses. Saber fought in a Sea of Fire? Yeah, it's that one dude. This is nothing new. I already heard from Kotomine that the fire was caused by the Holy Grail War, so it shouldn't be a surprise. I've been trying not to think about it all this time. So what happened? Did you manage to beat him? I did not defeat him. That is, I could not defeat him, because You were beaten instead. Unlike your messed up summoning through Shiro, you couldn't beat this guy even when you were summoned properly. Saber hangs her head, but doesn't answer, and that's answer enough. Saber couldn't win? Not this imperfect Saber hobbled by my weakness, but Saber with nothing holding her back. Is that even possible? If you consider her expressly in terms of her strength as a swordsman, Saber isn't invincible. She was weaker than Berserker, but Saber has her noble phantasm. The other servants' noble phantasms are powerful, but Saber's exceeds them all. It's hard to believe there could be a hero in this world that a sacred sword can't defeat. Then there's only one explanation. He wasn't summoned for this war. He must be a servant who remained from the previous war. Nothing else makes sense. Gah, my mind stops working. Not that I agree with Tosaka's assessment, but she just described what I've been hoping could be possible since yesterday. But that is... There are not buts. It's the only possible explanation. Only 7 servants can be summoned for each Holy Grail war. If there are any other servants here, wouldn't that mean they're the winners who survived the previous war? Well, Fate Strange Fake right now is throwing that theory out the window. There's a heavy silence. Yet, why does Tosaka look so pleased? Tosaka, why do you look so happy? Isn't it obvious? There's precedent. I don't know who that guy is, but he's a servant who won the last Holy Grail war, right? Then he must have obtained the Holy Grail, and he's staying in this world with its power. That means he's proof that as long as you obtain the Holy Grail, a servant can remain in this world. I'd like to capture him and question him for more information. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tosaka. I don't know who the heck that guy is. It probably should say no. But he's a servant, and he remained in this world since the previous war. Which means there's a way for Saber to do the same. Well, I don't know who he is or what his motives are, but it doesn't change the fact that he's an enemy we need to defeat. Saber, so what's his true identity? I do not know. Even during the previous war, I could not determine his identity. He did not have a noble phantasm specific to him. He didn't have a noble phantasm that made it clear who he was? That's ridiculous. A servant who doesn't have a noble phantasm wouldn't be a servant, right? Besides, he just... That's right. He had plenty of them. It shouldn't be too hard to figure out his identity since he used so many. We just need to figure out which hero would match the shapes and sizes of the noble phantasms he used. Then I shall ask you this. Do you remember any of the noble phantasms he used? Of course I do. Tosaka thinks hard for a moment. She folds her arms over her chest, frowning, and then just tilts her head in confusion. No way. That's impossible. What's going on, Tosaka? What's impossible? I don't believe it. The one covered in blood was Dainslev, and that sickle-looking thing was Harpe. There was the one that looked Chinese too, and I think there was one that looked like it was used by a Kana. Tosaka looks almost crazed as she mutters to herself. She looks a bit like she's tumbling down a rabbit hole. So that one that was similar to Saber's sword, it should be different. The simple design looks like it must have come from Northern Europe, and I heard many originals of magical swords tend to use their cues from Nordic sources. She's even starting to grind her teeth. Hey, Tosaka. Leaving her to her own devices will do more harm than good. If I don't stop her right now, we'll wind up paying the price later, especially me. Tosaka, come back to us. Ah, shut it, Shiro! You butting in is just confusing me! I'm not trying to butt in. You're talking about that guy's noble phantasm, right? Judging just from their shapes, that was Dainslev, Harpe, Durandel, Vajra, Kalabog, and Gaybog. I don't know the Chinese one, but I think I covered all the famous ones. Yeah, you're right on all counts. I don't love the face she's making. It leaves me feeling even worse. I don't know much, but I just blurted out what leapt into my head. But what does that mean? There's no hero who has such an insane number of noble phantasms, and more importantly, the weapons are from all over the place, so I have no idea what the hell is going on. Yes, that is why even I could not discern his identity. He employed a wide variety of noble phantasms, each of which should have been a sign of a specific hero. Archer had so many I could not narrow down his identity. The two looked perplexed. With so many noble phantasms, we have no hope. It's like hiding a leaf in a forest. Don't you have any suggestions? Tosaka, obviously annoyed, glares at me, expecting. I'm not sure what. She's taking her frustration out on me, I guess. When we know the answer, like, since I know the answers to this, the scene's less interesting. Like what? Like anything you notice or deduce, any flash of inspiration, we need some real out-of-the-box thinking here. Only chance is sheer luck. She may be right. I get it, you're making fun of me. Rude, I just think you're no help in the first place. So what do you think? I got nothing. I raise my hands up in surrender. Tosaka groans. That leaves us with only one conclusion, Saber. Do you think his noble phantasms are fake? There's no other explanation. I agree, however, they weren't fakes. Oh, Shiro said that. How did I figure that out? Besides, fake noble phantasms wouldn't have harmed Caster. How do you figure, Emiya? I'm just saying they were real. Actually, everything else seemed fake. It's intuition. I can't explain it, but those were all real. Lance's gay bulg is real, of course, but the spear the other guy used is also the real gay bulg. What? Her making that face isn't making explaining any easier. It doesn't help that I have no idea how I know this. I just know all these noble phantasms are real. I can feel it. Maybe it's because I used projection during our battle against Berserker. After seeing all those noble phantasms, I can tell they're all real. A great weapon is imbued with specific concepts, while imitations lack something. I learned that much when I replicated Saber's sword. In that regard, I think all the noble phantasms that Servant had were perfect. Let's just set what Shiro said aside. Since we don't know that this guy's true identity, we should think of our next moves. Tosaka sneaks a glance at Saber. Assuming he's after the Holy Grail, there's one more thing bothering me. Saber, can I be blunt? Why does she always have that mischievous look when it comes to topics like this? What do you mean, Rin? If there is something you would like to know, you need not hold back. Are you sure? The voice actor's little so with that expression was so cute. I like that. Just want to hear it one more time. Are you sure? Okay then. What do you think of him, Saber? From the way he was talking about you, he seems to have the hots for you. I'm not following Tosaka's lead, but I also sneak a glance towards Saber. I don't think Tosaka has it wrong. He seemed obsessed with Saber. Actually, it's beyond being obsessed. From the very beginning, he only saw Saber as his possession. I do not care what he thinks. I do, however, recall him proposing marriage in the previous war. Of course, I banished that idea with my sword. Propose? You mean that kind of proposal? What the heck is that servant thinking? Whoa. I don't know that I should celebrate that, but I get the sense you don't feel too bad about it either. It's flattering for a woman being proposed to, even after you become a servant. That is not true, and I do not have that kind of freedom. My only goal is to obtain the Holy Grail. Honestly, that kind of nonsense irritates me. Really? You might feel that way, but he seemed really into you. Guys like that, they don't get discouraged even when you reject them. You're stubborn too, so maybe you two are a good match. Tosaka's being irresponsible, so I'm not sure why she looks so amused. Tosaka looks like she's happy to have a conversation like this with Saber, even though Saber seems disinterested. I keep telling you that I have no interest in such things. He is certainly a skilled heroic spirit, but he and I are of vastly different minds. Saber's responses are at least sincere. Oh, did you hear that, Shiro? Saber has no interest in men. Relieved? Rin, Shiro has nothing to do with this conversation. There is no logic in what you've just said. I figured. My bad. But if you're not sure why I'm so amused, I have to say this whole thing is just funny. Tosaka laughs menacingly. Her eyes make it clear she's laughing at me as much as Saber. I don't know what's pissing me off, but I get up without a word. Huh? Hey, where are you going, Shiro? Tea. I'm getting thirsty, and I figured I'd prepare tea for everyone. I huff and head toward the kitchen. I don't know why, but I'm just irritated, so I decided to make super bitter tea for Tosaka.
Then I'm going back to my room for now. Let's talk more tomorrow when Ilya wakes up.
After teasing Saber for a good while, Tosaka gulps down her bitter tea and gets up. Yeah, go to sleep, don't come back here.
Fine, fine, I'm leaving the rest to you here.
I don't know why she's so amused, but her mood seems good even as she turns back to the outbuilding.
What will you be doing, Shiro? Your wounds may have healed, but you should not push yourself. You should also rest for the night.
Yeah, I intend to, but I'm gonna watch Ilya a little more. If she seems alright, I'll take her to the spare room and then I'll go to bed too.
I see, then I will stay as well.
And that's where our conversation ends. Tosaka was the one making all the noise and it's gotten awkward now that it's quiet. It's not that it's awkward, I'm anxious because there's so many questions rattling around in my head and so many things I want to say. Come to think of it, I haven't really been able to talk to Saber. About the Holy Grail, about her not being dead, about how even if she obtains the Grail there's no salvation for her. And there's no need to explain why. She still doesn't have a wish for herself. Saber, about our conversation earlier. Our eyes meet. Hers tell me that she knows what I want to say. Yes. What is it, Shiro? She tries to divert what I have to say with her quiet tone, but I have to talk to her. I said about our earlier conversation. Tosaka said servants can stay in this world if they obtain the Holy Grail, so... No, I have no intention of remaining here. The moment I obtain the Holy Grail, I will return to my original time. So you're gonna redo the selection of the king? Rather than saving yourself from the brink of death? You want to start over from the very beginning? Yes, it is the king's duty to protect their nation. I was inadequate, so I must at least select an appropriate king in my stead. She says this like she's talking about a stranger. For some reason I get real mad. You idiot! Wake up! To hell with that king's duty. What matters is that you're here, so you should do what you want to do. You're strong, right? Then finish off this war right now, get your Holy Grail, and quit being a servant. If you have a wish, don't use it to go back in time and redo everything. If you want to change, don't change your past self, but find a way to change now, then return to the past from here. Saber doesn't answer. She sighs. You are very persistent, Shiro. Please let this matter rest. She rejects what I said outright. Obtaining the Holy Grail does not mean I can remain in this age. Archer, that servant does not remain in this age because he obtained the Holy Grail. It was not possible to obtain the Holy Grail in the previous war. What do you mean? One cannot obtain what does not exist. On that night when the town was ablaze, the Holy Grail was destroyed. Destroyed by my master, who betrayed me. Kiritsugu Emiya. What? The edges of my vision go dark. I nearly fall backward, but catch myself with both hands. Kiritsugu Emiya. Yes. 10 years ago, he was my master in the previous Holy Grail War. Kiritsugu and I survived until the very end, and the Holy Grail was in Kiritsugu's hands. Archer and his master were still left, and we had only to defeat them to bring an end to the Holy Grail War. But Kiritsugu abandoned the Holy Grail. I feel like Fate Zero would have been much less interesting. Not much less, but definitely less interesting to watch, I feel like, after playing this game. I mean, it's cool to be able to see what you heard about play out, but I liked the surprise of like, oh my god, he's destroying the Holy Grail and he's using Saber to do it. Like, that surprise was awesome. As a result, the town was consumed in flames. He ordered me to destroy the Holy Grail, as servants are the only ones capable of touching it. Kiritsugu used his final command spell to force me to destroy the Holy Grail. With the Holy Grail gone, servants could not remain in this world. Kiritsugu did not try to keep me here. That is my last memory. I could not conclude my battle with that Golden Knight Archer, nor ask Kiritsugu why he betrayed me. It's not like I never thought about it. My old man was a mage. If he lived in this town, he could have been involved in a Holy Grail war. But still, why didn't you tell me, Saber? Why didn't you tell me my old man was a master? A servant typically does not retain their memories from previous summonings, and the same heroic spirit is not typically summoned as a servant consecutively. I am an exception to this rule. That is why I determined it would be best not to mention that to you. And I was not eager to speak with you about what sort of master Kiritsugu was. Why didn't you want to tell me? Shiro, in much the same way you have witnessed my past in my dreams, I have seen your past as well. I was surprised by your past, and could not believe how much Kiritsugu had changed. The Kiritsugu emir of your memories was a wonderful person, but he is nothing like the man I remember. In brief, he was a typical mage. He acted purely out of self-interest, and he destroyed anything in his way. I saw not a hint of human emotion from him. In the course of the entire war, he spoke to me only 3 times. Damn, having to write the story backwards from these lines of dialogue, having to write Fate Zero. I feel like people were too hard on the Fate Zero author who wrote an awesome story backwards from this. I do not think I need to explain those 3 occasions to you. The 3 commands. He was not brutal or some gleeful murderer. He was wholly without emotion. Kiritsugu treated me as nothing more than a tool and saw himself in much the same way. Kiritsugu killed every single one of his own emotions, just as he killed each of his enemies. I never learned what drove him or what he believed in, but in the moment I stood before the Holy Grail, he commanded me to destroy it. To be honest, never have I more bitterly cursed the command spells or a betrayer than in that moment. There's truth in Saber's words. They must all be true. I realized I knew nothing about what Kiritsugu was like before I met him. There was no way for me to find out what kind of person he'd been before that, and there was no need. Even if Kiritsugu Emiya was cold-hearted, it wouldn't change a thing. The man who adopted Shiro Emiya as his son was so much warmer. That's the only truth about him to me. But what nags at me is, if Kiritsugu truly was so ruthless, then his final moments were just too empty and futile. I see. Then maybe I was able to summon you because I'm Kiritsugu's son. I do not know. Kiritsugu summoned me after taking the proper steps. He had the aptitude to become a master and so was hired by a mage family with a long history to join the Holy Grail War. I hear that house provided everything he needed. They excavated a relic of King Arthur from Cornwall and gave it to Kiritsugu to use for the Holy Grail War. Kiritsugu used it as a catalyst to summon me, King Arthur. And so Kiritsugu did not possess a connection to me, nor did he possess any attributes in common with me. There must be some other factor which enabled you to summon me. I got it. I'm not that surprised my old man was a master. What does surprise me is that his servant is the same King Arthur with me now. And one more thing. Saber said the Holy Grail was destroyed. Maybe this war was meaningless to begin with. You already know there's no Holy Grail, right? So why did you decide to join this ridiculous war? I cannot say for certain whether the Holy Grail is truly here or not, but so long as I have been summoned, there must be a Holy Grail. Have you forgotten? I have become a servant expressly to obtain the Holy Grail. Put another way, I would not be summoned to a place if there was no Holy Grail. Oh yeah, but does that mean a Holy Grail can fix itself after it's destroyed? No. The Holy Grail is not something that can be easily replaced. A Holy Grail once destroyed cannot be restored. But it should exist. Servants are drawn to the Holy Grail and manifest. Without a Holy Grail, servants will not appear. The priest mentioned that already. The priest, oh yeah, that guy. The guy living in the church, the overseer of the Holy Grail War. The man is managing the Holy Grail should be able to answer all my questions. The end of the previous war, the whereabouts of the destroyed Holy Grail and how that archer is still around. And yeah, what did Kiritsugu see at the end of the battle that made him want to destroy the Holy Grail? Damn it, a lot of those questions are ones I know the answer to already. I wake up alone. Even if she's recovered, Saber still needs to sleep on occasion. The moment we return to our room, Saber immediately falls asleep. I went to bed as well, if only to make her feel better. That was an hour ago. It's past midnight. I should be able to get out of the house without Saber or Tosaka noticing at this hour. Is he going to the church? I think he's going to go to the church. Okay, then I'm going to save it here. I was hoping we would like end the day so that I could like save it at a decent spot, but I guess I got to save it there. We're back. I sneak outside, trying not to make a sound. I thought of using the bike, but I'd just run the risk of waking them up. So I walk. There's not a single person outside. It's late, but the silence is still eerie. The air is frozen, and there doesn't seem to be any sign of life in the buildings. On the other hand, it feels like something dark and sinister is swirling at my feet. Did something happen to the town while Ilya had me as prisoner? It's like a bad omen hangs over the entire place. This isn't my imagination. I look up toward the mountain in the distance. Ryudo Temple, which stands a distance away from town, only looks like a black lump from here. But it looks like it's swaying in the night air, rumbling and throbbing. I cross the dark river and walk into Shinto. Huh. So it's been 10 days. On that day, the night I met Saber for the first time and then walked across this bridge with Tosaka seemed so long ago. I see the church. I've never been here before. I may have said as much to Tosaka, but I did have a connection with that church. If things had gone differently, I would have ended up under the care of the church, and then been adopted by some family later on. It would have been either the Emiya family or that church. One hell of a fork in the road. Yeah, really. 10 years ago, all the kids in that hospital were orphans. The church took them all in, at least temporarily. I was the only one in that group of orphans to be adopted from the hospital. That's probably why I've been unconsciously avoiding the church out of guilt. It's also why, 11 days ago, I told Tosaka it was my first time going to the church. The lights inside the church are on. I don't really like that priest, but there are things I need to ask him. Okay, let's go. I take a deep breath and put my hand on the heavy church doors. Father Kotomine, are you here? I step inside as I call out for him. There's nobody in the chapel. The lights are on, but this vast space is so quiet I find myself more nervous than if it were dark. Kirei is playing the organ right now. That's what we're hearing. Hey, is anybody here? There's no reply. I can't keep going in further, so I might have to give up tonight. Gah! I whirl around when I hear a sound from behind me. Shiro Emiya, what brings you here at this hour? The suddenness of his appearance leaves me speechless. It is the dead of the night. I had hoped to go to sleep, but the look on your face tells me you want to pretend to perform some sort of penance, Shiro Emiya. Kotomine sounds bored and turns back to the door he came through. Oh, hold on. I came here to ask you something. I know that. I do not intend to turn anyone away, no matter how odd an hour they choose to arrive. This music is so loud. As Kotomine says so, he opens the door to the back of the church. Follow me. I'm sure you are here to talk about the Holy Grail War. I cannot allow such bloody talk here. Kotomine doesn't bother asking my opinion, he just disappears into the back of the church. I've come this far, I can't go home empty-handed. I steel myself, determined not to let Kotomine intimidate me this time, and head toward the back of the church. Whoa, the outside's impressive, but the inside's pretty intricate too. This must be a courtyard. The garden and passageways are too magnificent for Kotomine to live here alone. What are you doing? If you want to talk, come with me. The priest disappears around yet another corner. Damn, he's not waiting for me. I complain to myself as I chase after Kotomine. The church is a small labyrinth, so I don't have any choice but to follow Kotomine. Isn't this the room where Kirei and Gilgamesh have their chats in Fate Zero? We enter a modest stone chamber. This simple room, far from the elegance of that chapel and courtyard, must be Father Kotomine's private room. Please forgive my inability to offer you anything in the way of hospitality. The priest makes his apologies as he plops down onto the sofa. I smell the faint aroma of what might be wine. For the smell to linger in this room, he must really like wine. Well, it's the blood of Christ. What is wrong? I thought you came here to talk. If you're going to just stand there like a fool, I'm going to be very annoyed. Nobody's standing around like a fool. I was just looking around because this room seemed weird. I'm gonna go home as soon as I finish my business here. That is a relief. I have no time to chat with children. I ask that you be brief. The priest really gets on my nerves. I feel like he's reading my mind, and whenever I try to deal with him directly, I just get intimidated. So, what is it that you want to talk about, Shiro Emiya? I thought I already told you everything I could. Don't lie. You knew all along. You knew my old man was Saber's master, and that the Holy Grail was destroyed. You're the overseer, here to manage the Holy Grail, so you can't not know. Oh? Did Saber tell you that herself? Yeah. I heard that's how the last Holy Grail War ended. The priest falls silent, contemplating something. Are you contemplating how Saber knew? You know, because, like, does he not know that she still has kept her memories? There you go. It is unusual for a servant to retain memories from previous summons. Either Saber is defective, or there is something unusual about her. Either way, I cannot say she is a normal servant. Heroic spirits do not retain their memories, as they are summoned in the past, present, and future. Yeah. I know all of this. He ponders this, as if he still isn't convinced. I get it. Kotomine doesn't know that Saber hasn't fully become a heroic spirit, so we can't truly understand the situation. That's not what's going on. Saber's circumstances are different from the other servants. Different circumstances? I see. So this must be why you visited me. Very well, tell me. His haughty attitude pisses me off, but I don't have time to deal with that too. I don't like it, but this man might be able to give me a clear explanation. It seems Saber isn't dead yet. Her contract to become a heroic spirit isn't complete. It appears she wished for the Holy Grail just as she was dying, and she agreed to become a heroic spirit as the price of obtaining it. So, see, she's not completely dead. She won't die until she obtains the Holy Grail, and that's when she'll become a servant in the normal sense. Not dead. Then Saber must still be in the cycle of reincarnation. Are you saying she is not removed from the flow of time like other heroic spirits? Yeah, I think that's what it means. Tosaka said Saber's basically been carved out of time. I see. So rather than disappearing after her role is finished like typical heroic spirits, she will be summoned as a heroic spirit again and again until she obtains the Holy Grail. But since she has yet to obtain the Holy Grail, whenever her attempt to gain one fails, she is sent back to the moment of her death. And now she has been summoned for this war and retains her memories from the last. I really can't say I understand heroes who go out of their way to seek the Holy Grail only to die. But once she obtains it, the only fate awaiting her is being used by others as a servant. Right. Even if she gets the Holy Grail and has her wish granted, she'll just become another servant. I don't like that. Besides, what are servants? You say you use heroic spirits like familiars, but are there contradictory heroic spirits like Saber? Who knows? I don't know a great deal about that part of how the system works. The permanence of the soul. The servant system was created to imitate that secret method. Only those who established this system would know more. The permanence of the soul. Well, I'm only speaking of how it was in the past. It really doesn't matter anymore. Forget it. So, Shiro Emiya, bottom line, you do not want your Saber to be a servant any longer, correct? Is that what I want? I do think Saber's situation is messed up. Aiming for the Holy Grail is all well and good, but afterwards, the only thing waiting for her is disappearance. Even if someone other than King Arthur is chosen as king, and when King Arthur ceases to exist in our history, the hero King Arthur will continue to be used by who knows how many others, and that seems wrong to me. So if she can stop being a servant and just live a normal life, That is impossible. The dead cannot come back to life. It does not matter if she is frozen in time. To us, Saber has already died. The power of the Holy Grail is what summoned her here. It is what keeps her here, and that is possible because she agreed to the conditions of becoming a heroic spirit. If she does not seek the Holy Grail, she will not be summoned as a servant. But as long as she continues to seek it, no matter how long it takes, she will eventually become a complete servant. Even if she fails this time, she will have infinite other chances. Saber is frozen in time, so she cannot attempt 2 Holy Grail Wars simultaneously, and she cannot re-attempt a trial once failed. If she failed a trial once, she will fail again no matter how many times she tries. She has already experienced it, and so the result cannot be changed. It's likely only a matter of time before she obtains the Holy Grail. This Holy Grail War is not the only chance she has at doing so. It's amazing how many blanks this fills in for me. Like in playing Unlimited Blade Works in watching Unlimited Blade Works and in watching Heaven's Feel and in watching Fate Zero, like Saber, I felt like there was always a piece of her story missing that I couldn't quite understand, and I thought it was just like, I thought the piece was there and I just couldn't see it. I thought I was like missing something. But now I'm seeing what I was missing is playing Fate, the Fate route, because the Fate route is what actually goes into that. In the same way that if you played this route or Heaven's Feel, you'd be like, why was the Archer, like Archer was such a weird character, why did they not go into who the fuck or what Archer's deal was? But it's like, you have to play Unlimited Blade Works to get that, you know? And if you do Unlimited Blade Works or the Fate route, and you're like, hang on, Sakura seems like an important character, but then she doesn't do anything. Why is she in the story? You have to play the Heaven's Feel route, you know? So, yeah, makes a lot of sense. There are trials to obtain the Holy Grail in every era. If she fights in every war, she will eventually obtain the Holy Grail. After all, she is being summoned as a heroic spirit because she's under the belief that she will obtain the Holy Grail. Sorry, I think my computer just made a noise. From the moment she came before you as a servant, the option of making her stop being a servant was non-existent. I know it. As long as Saber seeks the Holy Grail, there's no way she can avoid becoming a servant. She'll stay like this forever, unless she decides to use the Holy Grail for herself. Even if this Holy Grail war ends and there's no need to fight anymore, if she doesn't obtain the Holy Grail, she just has to try again next time. The moment she obtains it, she turns into this so-called heroic spirit and is sent all across time. So whether she obtains the Holy Grail or not, she will remain a servant forever? Well, not necessarily. If the Holy Grail is truly omnipotent, it may be able to save Saber. But you just said that was impossible. Correct. There is no way to stop Saber from becoming a servant. But what you desire is for her to remain in this world, yes? That is not so difficult. A servant can remain here, human, once the Holy Grail War ends. Though once she dies, she will return to where she was just before she died. How do I do that? Heroic spirits and servants are similar, but there are differences. Normally, heroic spirits are not summoned with a will of their own. They are simply summoned as a tool to fulfill specific goals, after which they disappear. But servants are different. They are the original body that was summoned by the Holy Grail. As such, they can live human lives just by remaining in this world.
Can you do something like that? Saber said that the Holy Grail disappeared the moment it was destroyed last time. Without the Holy Grail, I thought servants can't stay.
Of course they cannot. The Holy Grail is what summons servants, and it's the Master's role to obtain them following the summoning. That, however, is also only possible because the Holy Grail is aiding the Master. Typically, a single mage cannot produce enough magical energy to maintain a servant. Without an incredible source of magical energy like the Holy Grail, servants will disappear.
I figured. Then...
Well, if there is a shortfall, one need only compensate for it. That is all supplying magical energy to servants is. Their natural tendency is to consume souls. If their existence starts to fade, they simply can replenish himself with more souls. Is he telling me to attack random people like Shinji did? The hell! I can't let her do that. Anyway, Saber wouldn't want to remain here if that's what she had to do it. Is that so? Then you would have to use the contents of the Holy Grail. It's quite simple. If you truly want Saber to live as a human, have her drink from the Holy Grail. He must have anticipated my resistance. The look on his face tells me that this is a conclusion he wanted me to reach this whole time. Are you telling me to grant my wish using the Holy Grail? No, this has nothing to do with your wish. I'm talking about the contents of the Holy Grail. Did Reen not tell you? Servants are able to start a second life in this world by drinking the water of the Holy Grail. Though this method only establishes their position as a familiar in this age, their physical body remains that of a servant, and they would remain in this world only for so long as their master lives. That means there's no solution. That's no solution. Even if she were able to stay in this world, it would be pointless if she's still a servant. She wouldn't be able to exist without magical energy from her master, and even if she managed to live in this world for a long time, she'd just go back to that hill after her death. Saber would never agree to such a thing. She doesn't care about a second life. She insists she's going to use the Holy Grail for something else. But then again, does the Holy Grail, the key to all this, even still exist in this world? I've heard enough. Basically, you're telling me to get the Holy Grail, but does the Holy Grail even exist? If my old man destroyed it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it what? If the Holy Grail doesn't exist, then there's no reason to fight. This ridiculous fight to the death is pointless. There is no reason to fight, you say? Why bring that up now? You never had a reason to fight in the first place. He says that, and time seems to just stop. There's no reason to fight. He told me that before. I'd just become a master and I didn't have much of a reason to fight, so at the time what he said didn't sink in. I just ignored him, thinking he was being sarcastic. But what about now? There's a reason for me to fight. If there's a Holy Grail, I want to end this war, and if it's possible, I want to give the Grail to Saber. There is a reason for me to fight, and a perfectly good one at that. But why? Why do those simple words make me shake so much? I feel like I'm about to vomit up everything I've held in for so long. Let's leave that aside for now. This is not the time to open old wounds. A voice shatters the stillness that had locked up my thoughts. It's the voice of a man I don't want to hear. But that voice at least settles the wave of nausea I feel creeping up on me. The Holy Grail is here. The Holy Grail is only a receptacle anyway. Once it is gone, someone else will prepare another Holy Grail. Huh? Someone will prepare another one? Is the Holy Grail so easy to make? Speaking only of the vessel, yes. Of course it requires a certain amount of skill, but without that skill, the Holy Grail war would not be possible in the first place. The Holy Grail is not a cup that received the blood of God. It is based on a magical pot passed down from ancient times. If you were a mage, you should know about it. Utopia. The word is Greek and refers to a place that cannot be found or reached. It was said that an omnipotent pot would grant any wish existed in such a place. And there were mages who tried to reproduce this omnipotent pot, which became the foundation for most mythology. There were three families, Ainsburn, Makiri, and Tosucker. They spent many generations researching the ritual to reproduce the omnipotent pot. 200 years ago, they managed to complete it. That was the first Holy Grail War, the ritual that attempted to open up a path by calling forth the omnipotent pot that was nothing more than an artificial Holy Grail. Ainsburn? Is that Ilya's family? Correct. The Ainsburns were able to use the Rheingold. Their ability to replicate the Holy Grail was unparalleled, but that alone cannot summon the Holy Grail. It also requires suitable land and a powerful spell. These the Tosuckers and Makiris provided. At the time, the Church and the Mages Association were in the middle of a war. As such, a land in the Far East where the Church held no sway seemed ideal for the ritual. The Ironsburns must have anticipated something like this might happen and invited the Tosaka clan to join forces. The Tosaka clan was the owner of the spiritual land in this area, and their master was a skilled necromancer. Without the Tosakas, summoning the Holy Grail would likely have been impossible for the Ironsburns. Of course, the two families betrayed each other. Thinking the situation should be a system of checks and balances, the Tosakas brought in the Makiri family. The Makiris are a family with substantial history. They were exceptionally skilled with handling familiars. The Makiris were the ones who came up with the idea of command spells to bind the servants. And thus the three worked together to summon the Holy Grail, but the moment they succeeded, a fight to the death broke out. I was thinking of the scene where we see them doing the ritual for the first time, right? Where Reen sees the blade, and that she copies the blade or whatever. The first summoning of the Holy Grail, not Reen, but Shiro would see the blade, right? The first summoning of the Holy Grail ended while the families were busy fighting each other. I think that was in Heaven's Field that happened. As time went on, they set down rules and called it a Holy Grail War, and eventually returned to working together on the surface anyway. The Tosakas provided the land and the system to model the servants, and the Makiris provided the command spells to bind the servants. And then the Ironsburns provided the vessel for the Holy Grail to inhabit. That was the nature of their cooperation. I'm not sure what's so amusing about this, but the priest seems to enjoy telling me about it. But I see. They say the Holy Grail War is a ritual, but I didn't know earlier in the Tosaka families were the ones who created the whole thing. Wait till you find out who the Makiris are. The Ironsburns prepare the Holy Grail. As Kiritsugu betrayed them last time, they put their greatest trump card into play, which is to say, the Ironsburn girl probably holds the Holy Grail. Huh? Ilya holds the Holy Grail? That's weird. I didn't think I saw anything among her belongings that looked like the Holy Grail. Are you satisfied? I do not know what you are agonizing over. The Holy Grail is your only solution. Now that you understand that, go home. The battle is not over. For you to walk about without Saber at your side is simply insane. Yeah, it is quite crazy. That's none of your business. I'm aware Lance's master is still around. He's in front of you, dude. Hold on. There's one more thing I need to ask. Kodomine, servants disappear once the Holy Grail disappears. That's what you said, right? I did. Do you take issue with that? Yeah, big time. I don't know who it was, but there was an 8th servant. According to Saber, he's been in this world since the previous war. What? You know about it, Kirei. But you're shocked that we found out about it, that we saw him? I can see he's shocked. Kotomine's eyes go wide. What's going on, Kotomine? I came here thinking you might know something about this. There's a servant who didn't disappear, you say? It's not so strange. The previous war ended with Saber destroying the Holy Grail, so there is one servant who remained apart from Saber. Saber disappeared on her own, but if this servant desired to remain in the world, the answer is simple. They must have supplemented magical energy by feeding on souls to stay alive these past 10 years. That's impossible. That servant was frighteningly powerful. If someone like that hung around for 10 years, someone like you or my old man would have detected them. I'm well aware. Someone was likely hiding them, either their master or what? A mage who knew about the Holy Grail War but did not become a master. I know of one person, but it is not possible. Old man Makini has long since retired. Kotomine must be satisfied as he gets up from the sofa. So is Kotomine just bullshitting us a ton? It's just like, oh, I wonder who it could be. This is the end of our conversation. After learning what I just have, I cannot simply dismiss this matter, given my role as the overseer. I shall investigate this servant. You should concentrate on your battle against the remaining Lancer. There's definitely nothing more to be gained by staying here. I follow Kotomine out on the dark stone room. From there, he leads me to the entrance in silence. I leave the church, and behind me, Saber will die once she obtains the Holy Grail. I do hope you understand what that means, Shiro Emiya. The priest puts that on me, and to make certain I remember. He watches me from the door with a condescending twist to his lips. Saber will die if she obtains the Holy Grail. I don't need anyone to remind me of that. Saber's goal is to obtain the Holy Grail only, but she doesn't want its power for herself. And as long as she obtains the Holy Grail, nothing will bind Saber anymore. She will be freed from going back to the point right before her death, and she will truly die. Why the sudden change of heart? You're not one to give warnings like that. Oh, I am just happy to see you supporting Saber. Think of this as a kindness. The moment Saber obtains the Holy Grail, she will disappear. My advice to you is, if you wish to be with her, you should give up the Holy Grail. That doesn't make sense. I can't keep Saber here without the Holy Grail. You do not need to rely on the Holy Grail. It is the same for the other servant we spoke of earlier. If you want Saber to stay, then all you need to do is feed her souls, am I wrong? Screw you! I won't allow that. I glare at the priest. I see. That is a shame. My glare has no effect on him, he just laughs in amusement. Then you'll just have to place your hopes on what is inside the Holy Grail. Even if your servant does not desire it, you need to keep one command spell, that way your wish will be granted. He's saying, it doesn't matter if Saber doesn't want it. If I'm her master, I just need to force her to drink from the Holy Grail using the power of the command spell. He doesn't like that idea. Oh? Should I not have said that? Now don't glare at me like that, I was only warning you. You are certainly free to respect Saber's wishes. It's her life. Neither you nor I have any right to interfere. I shall investigate that other servant you mentioned. I should have something by tomorrow. You are more than welcome to return here should you wish. The church doors close. I glance up at the towering church before I turn to leave. I cross the bridge at night. This is a path I once walked with Saber. I was just looking at the scenery, not thinking about anything at that time. I know. I don't need him to tell me that, but why is everything so complicated? Saber shouldn't obtain the Holy Grail, but the only thing that can save her is the Holy Grail. I can't do that. And even if I asked her to do it, she would refuse. She would choose to disappear if that were the alternative. She would disappear, and then she would have to do another Holy Grail war all over again later. Shut up! Kotomine's words are poison. I can't get rid of them. In a rage, I smash my fist against a nearby rail, desperately hoping to clear my mind. I hear an echoing metallic clang. There's no other sound, not so much as a car or another person passing by. Damn, why am I getting all worked up? I lean against the rail, grumbling to myself. I know I should just ignore Kotomine, but there's just some sort of power to his words. I can't ignore them. What do I want to do, and what am I fighting for? In the beginning, it was stopping the Holy Grail War, but when did that become secondary? Did it happen when I started to stubbornly fight on my own? Did it happen when I realized how helpless I am and started to cooperate with Saber? Or did it happen when I made a sword for her, after our souls entwined that night in the ruins? They sure did. They sure did entwine. Aw. No, that's all nonsense. I don't need to think about it. Since the beginning, my mind's been made up since I met her in that shed. The sight of her, illuminated in the moonlight. That would have been fine, had I not shared that dream of her past, and so not known any better. It would have been over without me even noticing, but I did find out. I knew I couldn't leave her alone, and I started to hope I could somehow not lose her. I wish to stay this way. I want to keep seeing her smile. The image of the girl watching the sunset alone on that hill strewn with swords. My chest hurts when I think of that scene. She never took any time for herself. That always bothered me. Karitsugu always said not to make a girl cry. I much prefer her smiling face to her tears. That's why I was so angry Saber never smiled. But then, when I told her to smile, she always replied that she would rather see me smile. That's like looking at an unreachable star through a telescope. I look up at the night sky. I stare at the star I could never reach. A trickle. I don't know how it formed, but I feel a tear slide down my cheek. I love her. Aww. I say it to nobody. That's nice. As tense as I may be, I have to at least admit how I feel. I can't stop this feeling anymore. I realize I've fallen in love with her, so much so that thinking about her can bring me to tears. Aww.
Welcome home. You were out late.
I hear Tosaka's voice as I arrive. She's standing at the entrance. Tosaka, why are you...
This is not the place to talk. You look exhausted. Come follow me.
She grabs my hand and without waiting for me to reply, drags me down the hall. And she brings me to her room.
Here, tea. It must have been cold out there.
She's awkward about it, but she's being considerate. Yeah, thanks. Honestly, the hot tea's comforting. It took me a good hour to walk home from the neighboring town. I walked slowly, so I was cold to the bone.
So you went to Kirei's place?
As usual, she doesn't want to beat around the bush. I get it. Tosaka must have known what I was going to do from the beginning, but she didn't stop me. She even waited for me to come home, and now she's even made me tea. I feel like a new man, now that my mind is made up, and I appreciate Tosaka's thoughtfulness. Which is probably why I say, yeah, I went. There was something I wanted to ask him about. I don't hide anything. I'm honest with her.
I see. Then I won't ask for details. You're okay with that too, right?
Yeah. It wasn't a fruitful conversation anyway. I just wanted to check with him about the current situation.
I see. But I'm honestly surprised that Saber isn't a full servant. The strongest of all servants being the most incomplete is a bad joke.
Yeah, and Saber didn't have to end up as a servant. She nods in agreement.
This is funny. You and Archer might have gotten along under different circumstances. He said the same thing you did earlier.
Archer? You mean your Archer?
Yep. Archer once said that he regretted his own actions, so he didn't want Saber to make the same mistake.
Why would he be worried about Saber? Because he loved Saber as well. I thought he hated Saber.
Yeah, but maybe he had some kind of connection with her. The first time he fought Saber, he was obviously going easy on her. I thought it was weird from the very beginning.
Oh, really? But Saber said she didn't recognize Archer.
Really? But Saber was a king, right? She might have not known every single citizen in her country. She could have forgotten about them too.
You know, if you go that route, the possibilities are endless. If you can't remember someone's face, that's as good as you not knowing them.
That's not necessarily true. According to legend, there were many knights that were unfortunately driven out of Camelot. He might have been one of them. If so, he might have been trying to hide his identity not from me, but from Saber.
Tosaka's unusually chatty tonight. It's probably her way of trying to be considerate. Maybe not particularly effective, but Tosaka's a good person. She's usually pretty relentless, but she still lends a helping hand. She's got kind of a big sister thing going on. We drink tea for a few more minutes. Tosaka turns and looks straight at me. Guess she's run out of patience.
So, what do you want to do, Shiro?
I'm gonna take her on a date tomorrow. I can't think of anything else. It's a spur of the moment idea I came up with on my walk back home. But then, is she gonna blush? I don't know where the somber mood from earlier went, because Tosaka makes the most bizarre face. She bursts out into uncontrollable laughter.
Hold on. Wait. I wasn't ready to hear this. That's unbelievable. It's so selfish of you, Shiro.
Damn, I'm so dumb. I should have seen this coming. Shut up. What's wrong with me being selfish? I know this is not the time for it, but I'm not going to let you get in our way.
Oh, no. Shiro, it's just so funny.
Tosaka slaps my back hard. She holds her stomach with her other hand, laughing so hard she's nearly in tears. I think this is the worst she's ever treated me. What a funny line.
I haven't laughed this hard in a long time.
Well, I'm happy for you. None of that was funny to me.
Well, good luck with your date. I'm rooting for you two.
Tosaka says that kindly, doing a complete about face from a second ago. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'll try my best. Honestly, that came out of left field. When she says it like that, all I can do is nod. I go back to my room. Saber's still asleep and the house is peaceful as if there's nothing happening. She didn't wake up from that roarous laughter. It rains today, but what about tomorrow? I look up at the clouds slowly passing overhead. Unlike me as it is, I pray for a sunny day tomorrow. I feel like that was a really long day, but we did it. Day 14, and I'll wrap up playing there for now. I don't know if this is the end of the video or not, but I'll wrap up for now. Okay, I'm back. That wasn't the end of the video, clearly. Here we go, continuing. Feb 14th. It's Valentine's Day, and it's also pretty close to what date it is in real life. It's February 18th, the day I'm recording this. Moonlight Part 1. Then, the next thing I know, it's morning. Pathetic. I couldn't sleep a wink. I sigh and turn off the ringing alarm clock. Today, no matter what she says, Saber and I are going on a date. No matter what she says. I'll use my command seal if I have to. My first priority will be to take her to plenty of places, so she'll have a chance to enjoy herself. I've been trying to search my mind for the perfect spot for a date, but before I could come up with anything, my alarm went off. I turned the alarm clock on just in case. As hard as I tried, I still couldn't think of anything last night, so I borrowed an alarm clock from Tosaka, figuring I might have to pull an all-nighter. Not that it's done any good. Come to think of it, I've never been on a date. I sigh again. That's sort of the problem. I'm nervous enough, plus I didn't sleep, but I think the worst part is how shocked I am that after staying up all night trying to think about it, I couldn't come up with a single thing a girl might like. Fine, I'm gonna leave it all to chance. I'm just gonna take her all over the place and she'll learn what it's like to have a good time. I'll just take her to cute shops. Well, I feel like there's a fundamental flaw in that plan, but I've already made up my mind. There's nothing else I can think of. But what this all boils down to is that today is going to be a day packed with fun, but it'll go on until Saber says she's had enough. Okay, I'm looking forward to this. I feel like we're pretty close to the end of the story as well, so I feel like shit's going to go wrong. So Iliasville has not yet awoken? No, she's still asleep. It doesn't look like she's going to wake up anytime soon, so you two got lucky there. If Ilia were awake, she would have followed Shiro around and gotten in your way. Yes, we cannot have her accompany Shiro like she has been doing. Things may have taken an unexpected turn last night, but today we shall go and search for the remaining masters. Shiro does not have time to be taking care of Iliasville. Ah, well, I wasn't talking about her getting in the way like that, but oh well. It's not my place to tell you exactly what you're doing. This is you and Shiro's problem. Tosaka laughs mischievously. She's really excited for our little date. Huh? Problem between Shiro and I. I kind of like that, like, because obviously this is the Saber arc, or the Saber route, and then there's the Rin route and the Sakura route, and in each of those routes, you know, there's like, you know, there's a romance between Shiro and whoever's route it is, right? But I kind of like that. I feel like in all three of the routes, the other characters haven't been like outwardly / toxically jealous. Like it's been pretty reasonable. In this route, like Rin seems to have like no romantic affections. Because I mean, I feel like Rin's a pretty easy character to read, and I don't think she has any romantic attachment to Shiro here. I think she has a lot of platonic attachment to him. I think she loves him as a friend a lot. Like, I think that's something that she tries to hide, but I think she does. But in terms of romance, I'm like, out of her reaction to this date and stuff, I don't sense any of it. And I like that. I prefer that, you know, they're not making us feel bad about like denying one girl in another girl's route, you know? Just like, let us be with them and be guilt-free. And we still have a good relationship with the others, you know? Don't throw them to the wayside. We finish breakfast and it seems like a good time to leave. Saber's ready to look for masters, but I'm determined to execute my plans as well. I just need to be a man and tell her. About that, Saber. We're going to go to the neighboring town today. If you have to get ready, I want you to do it now. Are we going to go search for masters? I would suggest we go to the suburbs instead of the neighboring town. That's not what we're doing. The two of us are going to go out and have fun today, so there's no point in us going to the suburbs. Huh? What is fun? Saber freezes. I try to ignore the sound of Tosaka trying and largely failing to control her laughter behind me. I will get her for that later. Shiro, I do not understand. It is not you and Reen going out to have fun, but... If I'm going, you're the only one who can come with me, Saber. Tosaka's gonna stay back and watch Ilya, so she has nothing to do with this. This is ridiculous. You and I going to the next town to investigate will yield nothing. There's no point to this. What are you trying to accomplish here? Saber's pretty clearly frustrated. I kind of figured something like this would happen, but things are looking even bleaker than I thought, since she clearly thinks we're going out to town to search for masters. This is rough. I'm being really clear, but you still don't get it, Saber. I'm trying to ask you on a date. If I ignore Tosaka's stare as I speak to Saber, I'm not sure how much Saber understands. I do not understand what you mean. Can you clarify, Shiro? I don't know if he could have been clearer there. She looks even more irritated. And suddenly it's like a switch flips in my head. There's no sense beating around the bush here. It'd be best if I were just blunt with her. Shiro, if you tell me to go to town, then I will obey. However, I would appreciate if you explain what the purpose of this date is. No matter how familiar I am with this age, there are terms I still do not know. Please do not use technical terms without explaining them. Tosaka. It's not really a technical term. I can teach you if you don't know, but a date is when someone goes out and has fun with a girl. Huh? Saber goes completely still. A girl? Do you mean me? She's dazed now, muttering. When I nod yes, Saber looks even more confused. I understand the meaning of the word now, but I still do not understand your intentions. For what reason would you do such a thing? Where's my water bottle? I wasn't expecting this question. I mean, I know what the point of a date is, but now that I'm the one on the spot, Saber wants me to explain it to her face, well... Sorry, I'm swishing water around in my mouth. My tongue has been really dry lately. And it's really annoying. Ah, she's confused because you're using an unusual term. Drop date and just use a term that's easy to understand. Listen, Saber, a date basically means a tryst. Shiro may be talking about going out and having fun, but what he's really getting at here is the whole boy trying to attract the attention of a girl he likes thing. Immediately, I cough loud. Tosaka may be right, but I'm pretty confident that a date and a tryst are two very different things. But I don't think it's worth mentioning. From her reaction, it looks like Saber finally understands what a date is. Exactly, Saber. We're going to head to town, and we're not going to fight. We can't fight during the day anyway because there are people around, so there should be no problem with us spending the day however we want. That may be true, but this seems pointless. I can see nothing you will gain from doing such a thing. That's not entirely true, and I wouldn't mind if it were. I've decided to spend the day with you, Saber, so don't worry about me. We're gonna go out to town, and that's that. Nothing you say will change my mind, Saber. I look her straight in the eye. Saber ponders for a while, looking serious. Then even if I refuse, will you be heading out to town on your own? Yep, I'm definitely going, or everything I spent all night thinking about will have been a waste. Then I cannot allow you to go unaccompanied. I am your servant and so cannot leave my master to go alone. Well, I went to the church alone last night, you weren't there, bitch. After taking a deep breath, Saber answers in her usual manner. Okay, that could have gone better, but at least I managed to convince her to come out. I shouldn't sweat the small stuff at this point. Is that Reen? Yeah, I guess that was Reen. Have fun, bring back something nice. As we step outside, I make a rude gesture at Tosaka, since she made fun of me until the very end. Just flipping her off. So, what specifically are we going to do, Shiro? Well, let's just head to the neighboring town. We catch a bus at the intersection. I love Saber's expressions in this game. The hilly path is unusually quiet. It's a little past 9 in the morning on a weekday, and the town is starting to come alive, but it must be a little early to be heading out somewhere. There's no one on the road. It's like we have the road to ourselves. Now that I think about it, I don't feel guilty about skipping school anymore. I've been cooped up in this house these past few days. Of course, you are a master, so you should not be walking around so casually. Saber's tone is sharp. Saber following behind me is nothing new, but it feels different today. I feel this immense pressure directed at me, and that's putting it mildly. I can tell Saber's going to be tough to handle. I'm looking forward to seeing how the day goes. It would have been stuffed with people about an hour ago, but there's only a handful of people using it now. The only people on the bus are old women with children, so it feels like we have the place to ourselves. Saber, let's sit at the very back. I call out to Saber, who for some reason tries to sit at the front of the bus and lead her to the widest seat at the back. Aww, that's a cute image. Aww. Saber quietly looks out over the passing scenery. I steal a glance at her and realize how crazy I am for what I'm trying to do today. Taking the bus to a nearby town is an ordinary thing for me. But here, in this ordinary place, something extraordinary is happening. Oh, well, I'm finding myself questioning whether I'm actually doing this whole date thing, and my mind starts spinning and whirling like some complex cube puzzle. A cube puzzle, you say? Ah, crap, I'm getting really nervous. It's kind of getting out of control. I take a deep breath to calm myself down so Saber won't notice. But then, and I know this is stupid, I take another look at Saber. Aww. I hardly recognize Saber as she sits next to me. Or, well, it's less that I don't recognize her than it is that the situation itself is unrecognizable. It makes me realize that she is something else. She's different. I didn't realize it when we were at home. This ordinary, everyday life seems to me like it's become something entirely new and different just because Saber's here. Her golden blonde hair, her green eyes, those alone are enough to make her overwhelmingly beautiful. It hadn't really crossed my mind since I never had much to compare her to. I remember the first time I met Saber. I must have been avoiding her because I was too embarrassed to admit that I was admiring Saber. No matter what Saber says, to me, she's a girl before she's a swordsman. I didn't know how to react to her, and I didn't understand my feelings for her. I have to admit, I know I sound stupid. I've developed trust and affection for Saber, past the point of no return, and now I've decided to go on a date with her. The order of events is all backward. Now as I get off the bus, the bus. Now as I get off the bus, I finally realize what a big deal it is to go on a date with the girl I like. The bus. But that's okay. I can only give it my all, so I can't very well take it all back and cower in fear now. I calm myself and try to shake off my ridiculous apprehension. The bus crosses the bridge and drives towards the development area and its masses of tall buildings. I breathe out, almost whistling, and ready myself. The familiar bus announcement tells us we've arrived at Shinto Station. It's only 9 in the morning, but the area around the station is already busy. Most of the shops don't open until around 10 o'clock, but cafes and smaller bookshops are starting to open up. There are already more people here than you'd expect in Miyama, even if it were a weekend. We get off the bus and Saber looks around the area displeased. I don't blame her. She hasn't really agreed to the whole date thing, and everyone's staring at her now. I doubt she loves that. Crap. I should have figured this might happen if I brought Saber here in the morning. But this discomfort is bound to follow us around all day. The only cure for this that I can think is Saber enjoying herself so much she forgets all the awkwardness. I can't imagine Saber having a ton of fun. Alright, I smack my fist into my hand and look over to Saber. Saber, before we start, is there anywhere you'd like to go? We came all the way out here, so we can do whatever you want today. No, there is nothing. This place holds no particular interest to me, and I have little knowledge about it to which to make any other decisions. Are you sure? Well, this is gonna be tough. I really do have to just wing it. If you don't want to go anywhere and I don't know where to go, things are looking kinda grim. I hope you are not saying you have made no plans for today, Shiro. Well, I have some plans, but they're a little light on details. For the time being, let's just hit up as many shops as we can. It's kinda hard too. I know some stores I'd enjoy, but I have no idea what girls like. Honestly, if I'd known this would happen to me someday, it'd have been smart to go out with a girl from class at least once. I do not intend to object, but there is something wrong with you, Shiro. I would not have thought much had you suggested to take a break, but that you have no plan for this interlude is completely ridiculous. Crap, now Saber's in lecturing mode. This is the first time she's ever given me such an earful outside the dojo. She wasn't into this from the start, and I figured all the people staring at her wouldn't help, but I didn't realize it'd be this bad. I have been waiting for the opportunity to bring up your lack of planning. You may be keenly aware of the people around you, but you care little for yourself. Consequently, you end up paying the price for your lack of self-regard. Hey, are you listening, Shiro? I am. Bottom line is that you don't understand why you're here, right, Saber? I know the places I'm going to take you will bore you, so I don't blame you for not liking it. It is not that, but I'm only saying that now is not the time for this kind of thing. I know that, but I'm also ignoring that since I've already decided to spend all day with you on a date, Saber. And also you say like this isn't the time to do this, but at the same time, there's literally no other time. Like, you want to just do the war. If we do the war, we either die in the war or we win the war and then you go away forever. We can never do this again. This is our only chance to do this. I'm not going to change my mind, no matter what you say. That's that. I look straight at Saber. The only thing Saber can do is look back at me in shock. But if you have something to say, I would at least hear you out. I'm sure you have things to say, and I'd appreciate it if you told me now. That way we won't have to worry about holding back later on. If you say you don't want to go on a date with me, I'll think of something else we can do. No, you do not need to go through all that trouble. I just... This is one of my favorite of her sprites. It's a really, really nice, like, her being a bit bashful, trying to stay composed sprite. It's really nice. It's odd seeing Saber at a loss for words. Well, if you have nothing to say, then let's go. You don't get to get mad about where we go since you don't have any requests. Maybe we should go to an aquarium. I hear those are popular. That sounds good. So I grab Saber's hand. Now we're holding hands. Shiro, I'm not complaining, but I do not think it is necessary to hold hands. Well, we're wasting time here, so we're gonna run a bit, and I'll guide you to where we're going, so follow me and don't let go. But not like this. I start running without waiting for Saber's reply. I've been pretty clear with Saber, so no more being pathetic in front of her. For now, I just need to escort her to every place I can think of. Saber's hand in mine, I run through the crowd. Apparently, Saber's given up resisting as she just follows obediently. It's a little before 10 o'clock. We have 2 hours until lunchtime, so I'm going to make the most of that and really knock Saber's socks off. Those 2 hours were like a storm. First, we tried a boutique I'd normally never go to, but we tried a hand at bowling while I told her the rules. It's probably going to be similar to the date episode of Unlimited Blade Works, where Rin and Shiro are out together, but Saber's there too. And they're like doing a bunch of stuff, and I think Saber's getting like super competitive, and they do batting cages or whatever, and she gets very frustrated or something because she's trying to swing it like a sword. I couldn't find the aquarium, but we fed birds at the park. We visited an interesting antique shop that ended up being a lot of fun, and I maintain that not going to the movie theater was the right choice. Anyway, I spent the whole time taking her places I figured a girl might like, and it was 2 hours of failure and defeat. Well, if you were doing that stuff, you couldn't have also gone to the movie theater because you had 2 hours for all of that stuff. And a movie is going to be like at least an hour and a half. even if it was a really short movie with all the, you know, ads and getting tickets and all of that. However, I tried to spin it. The day wasn't really shaping up to be a date. It felt more like a battle to the death, in which the first person to give up loses. Wherever I took Saber, she acted exactly like she's always done. Once in a while, she would fall so quiet I would start to worry if she was truly angry. Her lack of reaction made it clear she was not having fun, which pushed me to try harder each time. Oh, I understand this, dude. And so I ran all around the city, desperate to make Saber smile, but noon came before I actually accomplished anything. It's so hard when you're trying to make someone enjoy themselves and you can't read them properly and you don't fully know. And I sympathize with the other person who you're trying to read as well, because sometimes I feel like it's funny, I run a reaction channel, so you'd think I'm very easy to read, and I don't think I'm super hard to read, but I also, like, when I'm not doing videos, I don't emote that much, like, on my face and about stuff, you know. I don't have a crazy amount of emotion, and so sometimes genuinely, like, it will be hard to tell if I'm having a good time or not. And people check up on me quite a bit, you know. People will say to me like, hey, are you okay? Are you feeling all right? Or like, are you having fun? Or are things okay? Because sometimes I'll just get into that state where it seems like I just go quiet and it seems like I'm not having fun and that I'm sad about something. And then I'll be like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm all good. But also I understand, as like someone who wants to be a people pleaser, like I constantly want to make sure people are happy. And so I try to read people, and some people, like even people that I'm very close with and that that I know super, super well, sometimes you're still trying to read them and it's difficult to read them, you know? But like I have one of my closest friends, I can read her decently well with some stuff. But sometimes just like trying to figure out if she's having fun is kind of difficult, because she doesn't necessarily like smile a whole lot while having fun, you know, just idly. She'll like laugh and stuff, but sometimes she'll just like, you know, get into a blank state, which is understandable because I do the same thing. But luckily, sometimes she'll just say afterwards, I had a lot of fun then, you know, and that's really helpful. When someone just says like, oh, that was really, really fun. Where it's like, then at least you know, then at least you're like, okay, I don't need to do the reading game. I'm just going to trust your words. And with Saber's reminder that it's lunchtime, I decided to take a short break, however. Oh my god. What is this place? I suggest going to the coffee shop near the river for lunch. She chose a romantic place. That was the only advice Tosaka gave me last night. So I did as she suggested and picked this restaurant, but I never imagined it would be so pretentious. I hope this is like the first thing Saber enjoys, you know? I take a look at the menu. Luckily the menu has Japanese translations next to all the foreign text, so I can at least figure out what the dishes are. The problem is that I've never even heard of any of these dishes, and the prices are outrageous. What is a burger? Where are we, on Mars or something? I have no idea what to order. Or maybe it's going to be very British, and so it's going to be like, you know, it reminds her of home. I stare at the menu and growl. Shiro, I thought we came here to eat lunch. Saber looks and sounds a little concerned. Yeah, but this is really not what I expected. I look up, and what I see is Saber looking like a cornered rabbit. Aww. I think she really wants to eat here. If you are uneasy, we can head back to the mansion. I actually prefer the food you prepare, Shiro. Does that mean you want to go home? No, it is not that I want to go back, but I've been nervous all day and am more tired than usual. Oh, so we're just seeing why she's been so quiet, because she's so nervous. Really? Oh, I thought about going back out after we had lunch and a bit of a break, but if you're tired, maybe we should take a longer break here. No, that is not what I mean. Tired is not the not quite the right word. It is more like, well... Saber stops. Fortunately, I'm the only one who hears a faint squeak from her stomach. Oh, she could have just told me she was hungry. I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is that I would appreciate it if we could eat lunch as soon as possible. Got it. Yeah, it may not be interesting, but let's order whatever looks okay here so we can get our food quick. It should be easy if a light snack's all we need. I can order 2 things that seem like lunch dishes and we quickly eat. I order it. Not I can order, I do order. While I'm drinking my after-meal coffee, I started thinking about what to do in the afternoon. What I learned this morning is that physical stuff like bowling's no good. Saber's extremely competitive. That in itself is good, but Saber's looks already draw enough attention, and when she gets like that, or she stands out even more. After we finished a game, Saber got sulky because of all the attention she drew. So we're gonna avoid physical activities. Hey Saber, I'm gonna ask you again. Is there anywhere you wanna go? Oh, she's smiling a bit. Me? No, nowhere in particular. I do not know my way around, so I will keep following you. Saber lifts her teacup as she speaks. She ordered black tea to have after her meal, and it seems she enjoys its flavour. I hardly serve black tea at home, and even if I did, it'd just be cheap tea bags. Saber must not have been satisfied with the drinks I've been serving at home, since it looks like she prefers black tea. Well, I should be more mindful about that starting tonight. Aww. Saber isn't doing much, she's just drinking her tea. She doesn't seem particularly happy, but she doesn't exactly look bored either. I guess she's just being Saber. As sunlight pours in through the window, Saber sits up straight, gracefully sipping from her teacup. It's the first time I've ever seen her do this, but it seems so natural, it's like I've seen it a million times before. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Saber, at least as I've known her, is always serious, only focused on wielding her sword, on fighting. Oh, I get it. It's only natural. I only think of her as the girl who takes up her sword. The moment she sets her sword aside, Saber is always calm and gentle. This scene doesn't feel new or unnatural to me, I imagine, because it's just her being who she is. No matter how skilled a swordsman she is, this is just Saber being normal. Or wielding her sword isn't what makes her exceptional. I once thought while I was dreaming that she was suited for fighting. I don't think I'm wrong there. No matter how great her sword skills are, no matter how many battlefields she's been on, as long as she was really herself, she couldn't have found the battlefield a comfortable place to be. That's why this is how it's supposed to be. Saber's not wielding a sword, she's just resting and unwinding. She belongs in this serene setting. Nice.